annual return with no risk and 100% liquidity. Here's the problem. A money market is safe and liquid, but offers almost zero yield. Mutual funds and ETFs are liquid with upside potential, but aren't safe. A carefully selected next-generation index annuity through IQ Wealth may offer 10% ample liquidity, principal protection, and a lifetime income yield potentially double to triple that of quality bonds. By yielding more income using fewer dollars, our system allocates more money for you for capital growth. It's a winning combination.
Call leading annuity authority Steve Jurich now. 480-902-3333. Guarantees rely on the claims paying ability of the insurer, so compare with Steve. 480-902-3333. Call Steve now.
Uncertain times can lead to fearful investing, which could leave you in a bad spot, especially if you're trading on emotion. When tumult opens and closes the market, you need sound advice.
Hello, I'm Mo Ansari, host of Market Wrap and president of Compact Asset Management. If fear has you in its grips, it's time to take a look at your investments. At Compact Asset Management, we specialize in providing complete wealth management solutions to help you reach your financial goals, no matter where the market goes. Dial pound 250 on your cell phone and say Talk to Mo for a free portfolio review. We will also discuss how we can work together to create your customized retirement plan. Call pound 250 on the cell phone and say Talk to Mo, and let us help you take the fear out of your portfolio. Again, call pound 250 on the cell phone and say Talk to Mo.
Compact Asset Management is a registered investment advisor, funds custodian, Fidelity Institutional Wealth Services, member FINRA SIPC.
Live from the Harmon Solar Studios in Scottsdale.
This is KQFN Tempe.
Also transmitting on K256 Phoenix at 99.3 FM.
And K240 U Fountain Hills at 95.9 FM.
All right, people, settle down.
Because it's time.
Time for what?
Showtime.
When does it start?
Right now. 3, 2, 1.
Let's get on with the show. Let's do it.
Welcome back to another edition of the Daily Blender. It is a Friday, finally Friday, and we're looking forward to all of the things we're going to talk about today with you. Remember, the text line is 888-368-1580. We are broadcasting live from the Harmon Solar Mega Complex in Scottsdale, Arizona. Alongside me is the unquestioned legend, Randy White.
Please.
I mean, it's just
every
a fact.
day you say the same thing,
and because it's a fact, Randy. It's still true.
A legend in my own mind, perhaps,
but also mine, which I think is that's got to mean something. I don't know exactly what it's good for, but it's
all right. Keon Rose, the sexiest man in sports talk radio.
Well, thank you for saying that. I also am in the control room, pushing buttons, making sounds and stuff. And last night we kind of got into it a little bit. The NBA draft, the mock draft that I had mocked. Partially wound up being, wrong in a lot of places and starting at the top.
Well, before we get there, I've been dying to ask you this all night. I've been thinking about this all night. How surprised were you that the number one draft pick was Paolo Banchero?
I was pretty surprised. Just the way that people were talking about Jabari Smith and the way he was considered the third guy in that group of the top three. Mm-hmm. And he ended up shooting his way up to the top of number one in a lot of the conversation that the scouts were having and the analysts were having. I was really convinced that Jabari Smith was the guy, to the point where I bet on him. So I was surprised that it wound up being Banchero.
What about at 15 and 16, Mark Williams and AJ Griffin going back to back? Those also were guys from the Duke program. What about that?
Yeah, no, I actually was really high on AJ Griffin. I know that it's tough with a guy like that because he's just got an insane injury history. I mean, the amount of injuries he's had at this point in his career, and I think he's just 19 years old, is a little concerning. But Mark Williams, really good player. AJ Griffin, really good player. Like, Duke had a fantastic squad. And it's one of the things that I'm actually interested in, that they had 5 guys go in this NBA draft.
Yeah. Wendell Moore went in the first round at 26.
Yeah. I mean, just a franchise record, but it seems weird looking back on it that Coach K didn't win a national championship.
Well, I was just going to ask you that.
With this
I was
group
just
of
gonna,
guys.
so you got 5 guys winning the first round of the NBA draft, and you couldn't win a national championship. What does that say about Coach K? It was time for him to go, time for him to hang it up.
I think it says a combination of, it might have been time for him to go, and a combination of it's just really damn hard to win a national championship. I mean, my God, look at how many teams that John Calipari has had at Kentucky, where there are 3-4 guys going to the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
And you look back at those teams and go, how did they not win a national championship? John Calipari. How did you not win a national championship when you had DeMarcus Cousins and, John Wall and Patrick Patterson, like a team that was loaded. And then you look back on it and they went to the second round and got bounced out. That team should have won a national title too. I think that we're going to look back on this Duke team from 2022, the last year of Coach K, and maybe have that in our minds as a reason why he decided to hang it up, because that is a championship caliber team.
What about the Detroit Pistons getting what everybody else thought was going to be the number 1 pick? They took him at the 3 spot, and he came out today and said, I really wanted to go to Detroit. Is that motivation for himself to be angry, kind of like what Aaron Rodgers did? You'll be sorry you drafted me. You passed me by in the draft, and when he was taken by the Packers, remember that famous? Everybody else they're gonna be sorry they passed me by. And sure enough, most of the NFL teams are.
Right. I mean, it's that same mindset. But I do think that a lot of the young guys kind of see Detroit turning a little bit. That this is not going to be the same bad Pistons that we've seen. They're going to take their lumps this next year too. But this is not the same bad Pistons team where it's no hope and they're never making the playoffs. This team has a collection of guys that want to be there. Cade Cunningham said last year when the Pistons took him as the number 1 overall pick, he wanted to go to Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
It's rare that you see guys saying stuff like that. But then, once you got one guy that says it and he goes there and he performs and he plays well, as Cade Cunningham did, and you saw other guys play really well around him, like a Sadiq Bey, well, then the Pistons get Jaden Ivey, and Ivey was supposed to be that 4th guy. He falls to them at 5 because the Kings didn't really want him, didn't really know what to do with him. So, the Pistons get a gift, and now they've got a Ja Morant level athletic dude to pair with their point guard that's got all of the court vision in the world. And if they pull off the trade that they want to pull off, that sign and trade for DeAndre Ayton, look out. I think the Pistons will be really scary.
Well, who are the Pistons going to send to the Suns for that former number 1 overall pick?
Well,
by the way, the only one the Suns have had in their 50-plus year history in the NBA. Just saying.
Worth pointing out. Look, it's hard to get the lottery picks.
Yeah, it's real hard. Orlando's had it 4 times.
I mean, statistically, that's how things shake out sometimes.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, no,
RIGGED, rigged.
I don't know if it's rigged because, I mean, if things are truly random, sometimes some teams wind up winning it more than others. And why the hell would the league want Orlando to win it over anybody else is I mean, if it was truly rigged, to me, the Knicks would just win it constantly. And they never do. And Knicks fans are dying.
Look, Dolan is already on the outs with the NBA. It's clear to me. Plus, his people in the office, the front office, it is a giant dumpster fire in New York. You see what they did last? I mean, I don't even want to talk about it. I don't even want to talk because it reminds me of my Arizona Diamondbacks.
Well, and we'll get to the Knicks a little bit because they're trying to do things. They're trying their best. They're failing horrifically.
Are they?
But they're trying. Yeah,
no,
I think that's what makes it truly funny is that they are actually trying. But no, I think that the Pistons have their spot now, and I really like where they are with that.
Overall, Keon, I don't mean to take over your segment.
No, you're good.
Overall, I just know everybody else has talked and beat this to death all day, and I just want to go for it. And by the way, can we call this a Friday happy hour edition of the Daily Blender?
let's do it.
Yeah, Friday happy hour. Anyway, overall, what kind of a draft was this? Do you think it was a good draft? Do you think teams that were looking to get better got better?
Yeah, I think the teams were looking to get better, improved. I think a lot of the bad teams have had enough turnover in their management that you're starting to see some of them go in different directions. You know, I saw the Pistons are looking like they're moving in a different direction. You know, the Hawks look like they're moving in a different direction. I think that there were enough talented pieces out there too for those teams to go out and get better if they absolutely wanted to. I mean, you always have your top 4, maybe top 5 guys who are just they feel like they're slam dunks of picks, but then that 5 to 15 group where it's going to be a little bit random. Not all those players are going to make it, but I think there was a decent amount of guys who have incredibly useful skill sets to NBA rosters that they're at least going to be contributors in the league. And I think that when you get past the number 5 pick, I think your goal is just to get a good player. Don't worry about getting a superstar. If you get one, if you draft Giannis at 10, congratulations, good for you. But, if you just get a really good player, a contributor, a solid piece, I think that that's all you can really, really ask for. And I think a lot of teams took advantage of how skilled the top 15 of this draft were.
It's Oklahoma City picked up Chet Holmgren, the giant Chet Holmgren. What do you think? Did they get better, or is this going to be a situation where Holmgren's going to have to beef up? He's going to have to grow into his man body in order to be effective for the Oklahoma City Thunder.
I think he's going to have to beef up, but I don't know that they're going to ask him to be their anchor, day one. This is a team that has been in the lottery for 3 or 4 years.
Right.
Now.
Right.
So,
yeah. I know it's been a while for the Thunder since KD and, everything was going on there. So, I get it.
And they keep stockpiling picks somehow. I don't know how they managed to do it, but they just
RIGGD rigged.
Well, this isn't rigged. They're trading them away. They don't mind trading back to get more picks and then using that bunch of picks to trade back up and get a ton of other stuff. They're not a team that worries about whether or not they pick number 1. The Thunder haven't picked number 1 in a long time, but it doesn't matter because Sam Presti, their general manager, is he just knows how to work the picks. He knows how to trade them. He knows what their value is. So they went out and got Chet. But the pick that I really like from them is that number 11 pick, Ousmane Dieng. I just think that he's a really athletic guy with a ton of upside. He plays in New Zealand, so almost none of us have seen him. But if that's a hit for a pick, then you can add Chet, Ousmane Dieng. Also, they got 2 Jalen Williamses in this draft. They drafted Jalen Williams at 12. And then they drafted another Jalen Williams, first name spelled differently, with the 34 pick in the second round.
What's going on here?
That's how many picks they have. They're just doubling up on guys with the same name. But
there needs to be a department of parenting that prevents this sort of situation.
I don't know what it is, but you got 2 Jalen Williamses on the Thunder. But if you add the Ousmane Dieng pick and the Chet Holmgren pick to what they've had before, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has been an awesome player for them. I think that he's really awesome. They drafted Josh Giddey last year. Josh Giddey is going to be great too. So I just think that the Thunder are just doing this the old-fashioned way because it's hard to convince people to go play out in Oklahoma City. Young guys that want to be part of the nightlife. They're just stockpiling talent.
Yeah, I mean, I get the young guys that want to be part of the nightlife, but Paul George it was quoted as saying, "Man, Oklahoma City took care of them."
I think
Oklahoma City, they got like chefs, they've got people that pay attention to every absolute detail of these athletes. You can't find this kind of service anywhere.
Yeah,
and I don't. For it to mention, I don't want any jokes either. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not. Yeah, right. Because they're out there to be made, but leave it alone. Low hanging fruit. Try a little harder. But I do think that the Thunder are one of those organizations. And I think Detroit can be this too. By the way, that once you get there, you realize they take care of you. It's hard to convince people to go there, but once they go, once they see that the organization is trying, that it's first class, that the fans are insane and rabid and love basketball and want to come out and watch and want to come out and support.
Definitely a basketball town. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that once guys are there, they don't really want to leave, but you got to convince them to get there. And I think that part of it with the Thunder is it's the draft. If we draft you, then you're more likely to understand what Oklahoma City is all about than if we have to chase down people in free agency.
Paolo Banchero make the Orlando Magic a better team, or should it have been, in your opinion, should it have been Ivy?
I think with the Magic, I think I thought Jabari Smith was their guy, but Banchero makes them a better team right out of the gate. He's a dynamic passer for a big guy, and we've seen how useful that can be with guys like Nikola Jokic, where if you can have a big guy who can control the floor as a passer, what does that do for your offense? It makes the scoring for that guy easier, but it makes the scoring for everybody else easier. Banchero can do that. We saw him do it at Duke. There were times where Duke didn't really have a plan. It was just they were struggling in games. Oh no, what do we do? Oh, let's just give it to Paolo Banchero and see if he could make something. And then he always did. Like that was the thing that was really cool to see about the NCAA tournament with Duke's running it, was Banchero just always found a way to win games for them. And it wasn't always scoring. It was who's open, who can I make better? He's got that ability, and the Magic have been drafting really well over the last couple of years to where Banchero might be the key to unlock what they have there potential wise.
My other question, I'm sorry, I've probably just taken a hard left turn on you here, Keon, at the start, but I'm interested to find out what your thoughts are about the draft. I mean, I think this was a pretty damn good draft. But what about the Houston Rockets? Jabari Smith going to the Houston Rockets. Does this make them relevant again, or are they still in the tank somewhere?
They're still in the tank. Jabari is a day one ball player. Like, he'll show up and he'll put up numbers and be really good from the very beginning of his career. He's got that ability. But Jalen Green, the guy they drafted with their pick last year, I like him a lot, but he's still incredibly raw. Got a lot more to learn. And I think they are going to coach him up and get him better. I thought that the Rockets had a really good draft. When you look at Terry Eason out of LSU, who at 17 feels like a steal to me. And then you get the backup point guard at number 29 with Ty Washington out of Kentucky, who was hurt a lot at Kentucky last year. But when he played, he looked really awesome too. And I think you got now your backup point guard. Maybe you can even do a little thing where you play Ty Washington and Jalen Green together. That could be really fun. The Rockets are going to eventually dig their way out of this rebuild, but it's a brutal rebuild. It's going to take like 4 years for them because they just don't have anything outside of the young guys.
All right, we've talked about 1, 2, 3, and 5. What about 4? Mr. Irrelevant, Keegan Murray going to Sacramento? Because we talked about yesterday, people go to Sacramento and that you never hear from them again. It's like a black hole.
Yeah, and I'm scared for Keegan Murray because I like him a lot. I'm worried about him, sprinkling holy water in the direction of his NBA career. Because people go to Sacramento and then it's like the Bermuda Triangle. They just vanish. But I do think that he's a better fit for what Sacramento's got going on than Jaden Ivey or anybody else. I think Sacramento has two really young quality pieces in De'Aaron Fox and Davion Mitchell, and they just didn't want to draft another guard. They just didn't want to have to draft another guy that they would have to figure out how to fit with the other two guys, and they're still not very big. They did make the move, I believe, for Sabonis at the trade deadline. So now you're adding Keegan Murray to that. Maybe the Kings can be turning the corner, but I'll believe it when I see it.
Yahoo Sports is giving them an A.
Yeah, what they did was great on paper. I got to see it happen. I got to see them actually draft guys and not kill their careers when they go there.
I wonder if these guys are grading on the curve. Orlando Magic, A-. Oklahoma City Thunder, A. Houston Rockets, A+. Sacramento Kings, A. Detroit Pistons, A+. Does anybody get a B or below?
I'm sure some teams did, but all those teams that you listed were near the top of the draft. So they drafted a bunch of no-brainer guys. They drafted a bunch of players that the consensus was these guys are going to be great. These guys are going to be awesome anyway.
All right. 888-368-1580 is the text line. Thunder Snow is on the text line and says, "Hail to the leader of the fourth dimension, Randy Big Sexy White." Yeah, about that. Mars Bars 805 says, "Happy Faded Friday, guys." No, Mars Bars, it's not Faded Friday today. I have decreed, and Kian has seconded that emotion. It is happy hour Friday. We're gonna have happy hour until 6:00 tonight on this very radio program. He'd like a. How about that draft, huh? Let's go, Duke. I'll take an 805, please, and a PC for Jeffrey. Well, you know what that PC is. If you like why he does that every day. Oh boy, Mr. Pringle is on the text line. So Keon thinks the Pistons can be scary as boo.
I mean, no, I mean, scary with talent, scary with players that they've drafted. I mean, it's young guys, so they're going to have to develop them, and they're going to have to take some time and let these guys grow into their own. But when
scary
they do,
as boo,
that is a basketball team that can win some games. And God, don't let them get DeAndre Ayton.
All right. Well, we're up against the break. We better take a break here, Keon.
Yeah, we'll come back and we'll get into one more draft thing, because Kendrick Perkins had some player comparisons.
I love Kendrick Perkins.
He's awesome, but he had some player comparisons that had everybody in the NBA scratching their head. We'll get to that, and some players that the Suns need to make decisions on this offseason, because NBA free agency is a mere 6 days away now. So we'll talk about that here on the Daily Blender on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
This is Brent Musburger's Action Update on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
Heads up, sports bettors. Right now, you can try VSiN All Access free for 30 days with no credit card required. Visit vsin.com/free month to sign up now.
The Colorado Avalanche can hoist Lord Stanley's Cup tonight if they pick up a win against the Tampa Bay Lightning. They lead Tampa Bay 3-1 in the Stanley Cup final. Colorado playing on their home ice tonight. They are favored in this evening's game at -176. If the Lightning pick up the win and force a game 6, they pay out at +146. The over-under has been set at 6 goals. Overall, the Avalanche heavy favorites to win the Stanley Cup this year. They pay out at -1250. If the Tampa Bay Lightning win the next 3 games, they would pay out at +900. For the latest odds all the time, visit vsin.com. I'm Matt Pauley on Arizona's sports betting station, 1580 The Fanatic.
NASCAR Championship Weekend is back at Phoenix Raceway. Drivers will put it all on the line to claim NASCAR greatness. The Truck Series Championship kicked things off Friday night under the lights. We're going to tear it up tonight. Followed by an action-packed Saturday, where fans will witness an ARCA and Xfinity Series Championship doubleheader. Don't miss out on the action November 4th and 5th. Get your tickets now for NASCAR Championship Weekend at PhoenixRaceway.com or call 866-408-RACE.
Are you a planner? Do you like to plan ahead? Then, of course, you already have a plan to call Harmon Solar, right? Bruce Jacobs here. It should be at the top of your list to get solar now and enjoy huge savings next summer. Up to 85% on your monthly bill with 0 down and no payments for 12 months. Then you can plan what to do with all that extra money. Harmon Solar is a family-owned, women-owned, local company that uses top-of-the-line equipment. Call Harmon Solar 800-281-3189 or go to harmonsolar.com.
When it comes to covering the high school sports scene in Arizona, AZ Preps 365 has all the answers. Every Saturday morning from 8 until 10, they break down games, interview the newsmakers, talk with coaches from around the state, and stay up to date with what's happening with prep athletes and breaking news from the Arizona prep scene. It's AZ Preps 365, 8 till 10 Saturday mornings on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic, and always on at 1580thefanatic.com.
As we plan for our retirement, there are 4 questions we need to ask ourselves or our retirement planning advisor. How much, how long, how safe, and what cost? Let's start with how much. That is, how much income we think we'll need each and every year for the rest of our lives, including all the activities we want to enjoy during our retirement, like travel, recreation, and entertainment, plus the cost of housing. including repair and maintenance, taxes, insurance, and utilities, as well as the cost of healthcare, including expenses not covered by Medicare.
Enjoy safe, secure lifetime income of 5 to 9% for life, depending on age and deferral period, with no fee deductions and no annuitizing. Guarantees rely on the financial strength of the insurer, so let's compare free in Scottsdale. For more, visit iqannuity.com, iqannuity.com, iqannuity.com.
1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic is your exclusive home for the 6-time world champion Indoor Football League's Arizona Rattlers.
Hey, listen up.
Tune in to The Fanatic for all the fast-paced, hard-hitting action. Listen as the Rattlers work toward the playoffs and their 7th world championship in team history.
Let's keep it going.
Arizona Rattlers football, exclusively on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic and at 1580thefanatic.com.
Welcome back to the Daily Blender, broadcasting live from the Harmon Solar Mega Complex. And we were just getting into a little bit of NBA draft stuff. And Kendrick Perkins, obviously part of the ESPN analyst crew, had some draft comparisons so bad. The Memphis Grizzlies tried to fight him on Twitter. Like they just
the entire team.
Well, at least Desmond Bane and John Morant. And you know what? I like Perk a lot. I think that guy's awesome. I think he's just great when it comes to talking about basketball. I love his attitude and his personality with it. But some of these player comparisons that he makes me want to fight.
Yeah.
Because they're terrible. And we're just gonna stick to the top 5 of his top 5 picks that he made comparisons to. So number 5 is the only one that I actually think makes any sense, which is that Jaden Ivey is a John Morant type player. I think if you watch the two of them and you see the athleticism, that's a fair comparison to make. But then it starts to go a little bit off the rails. Where the number 4 pick, he's compared Keegan Murray to Pascal Siakam.
Okay.
From the Toronto Raptors. Now, I like Pascal. I think he's a really good player. Keegan Murray does not play anything like Pascal Siakam does. Siakam is like a more out of control Kawhi Leonard. He's got the killer instinct. He's got the ability to shoot threes, mid-range, kind of all of that stuff. I think Keegan Murray's got a really good back to the basket game, but that's about the only thing that he's got in common with Siakam. There's nothing else in common with these two guys. There is no point in Keegan Murray's entire college basketball career where he looked like Pascal Siakam. I have no idea where Kendrick Perkins got this from, but they're the same height. So I guess that's why. I don't know, but it gets worse. It gets worse because his number 3 pick was Jabari Smith. He compared Jabari Smith to Kevin Durant. And I think Jabari Smith is going to be a really good basketball player, possibly even a great basketball player. But Kevin Durant is in a league by himself. Kevin Durant shoots the lights out of the gym. When he's on a roll, he cannot miss. And for a guy that's like 7 feet tall, Kevin Durant handles the basketball like he's a guard. Jabari Smith doesn't have any of that. Yeah, maybe he can develop it, but he doesn't have it yet. Like there's nothing about Jabari's game that makes you think, oh yeah, Kevin Durant, that's the guy. I think more he reminds me of like Rashard Lewis on the Magic back in like 2010. Like that's more of a better comparison. Because he's a guy that can defend incredibly well on one end of the floor. He's not afraid to take his shots, but yeah, he's gonna have to learn how to dribble a whole lot better because he just doesn't have that as an aspect of his game. But it still gets worse with this player comparison.
How can it get worse than that?
The number 2 overall pick in the draft, Chet Holmgren.
Oh boy.
Kendrick Perkins compared Chet Holmgren to Giannis Antetokounmpo.
What?
And correct.
Come on, man.
It doesn't work. It does not work as a draft comparison for so many reasons. I think Chet Holmgren is actually built more like Kevin Durant just in terms of their body, their frame. I don't know that Chet's going to ever be able to put on a ton of weight. Like Giannis was skinny when he got drafted, but you could look at his frame and go, there's muscle that can be added here. In time, that guy's going to get bigger. Chet's going to get bigger than he is now, but he's not going to get much bigger, and he'll never get Giannis big.
Yeah, he's not going to. I don't think he's going to get Giannis big, but he's certainly going to put some muscle on. I mean, I would liken him to maybe DeAndre Ayton, who was very skinny when he came to the Suns, out of U of A, and he's bulked up. So I think there is some hope for Chet Holmgren to get some bulk on him and be able to take the abuse of an NBA season, but to look like Giannis Antetokounmpo, no.
The only thing they have in common is that they're both skinny when they first got in the league.
So is he comparing Chet Holmgren's game to Giannis Antetokounmpo? Because I don't believe that Chet Holmgren's more of that kind of rushing bull to the basket, and flush the ball with authority like Giannis is.
No, he's not. And I think I don't know if he's comparing the body or the game, to be honest with you. But that's what makes some of these player comparisons so bad. Is it's unclear exactly what, because if he's comparing the body, that's not a good comparison. And if he's comparing the game, it's an even worse comparison. Because the strength of Giannis is that he puts his head down, he takes 2 steps from the free throw line, and he's already at the basket. And if you try to stand in his way, may God have mercy on your soul.
Yeah.
Chet can't do that to you. Chet is I actually like your DeAndre comparison to a degree because he's more of a finesse kind of player.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be a dog on defense. Chet is a smart defender. He knows where to wind up. He always seems to be just at the point where a shooter wants to put the ball up in the air. He seems to always know how to get there before they start shooting. But as far as an offensive player goes, I mean, Chet's a better shooter than DeAndre, so he's got more range. He can probably swing out and shoot some threes too. But he's never going to be the Giannis. I put my head down and run over 3 guys on my way to the basket. Like that's just not who he is as a person. That's not who he is as a basketball player. He's not built to do that. His mindset isn't that. Like I have no idea what Kendrick Perkins is talking about there. But his first pick might actually be the worst comparison of them all.
Oh no.
He said that Paolo Banchero was Ben Simmons. And my head almost popped off of my shoulders when I heard him say that, because I don't know where that could possibly come from. Ben Simmons is afraid to shoot the basketball in every context. We've seen Paolo shoot the ball. He's not scared to do that. Paolo's not afraid to put the ball on the floor and go to the basket. Paolo's not afraid to go up and challenge a guy at the rim. All of those things are things that Ben Simmons is physically capable of doing, but won't do. He just won't do it. Paolo Banchero, I promise you, in the next 2 to 3 years, will probably play more games than Ben Simmons will.
Yeah. Oh, easily. Yeah.
Paolo wants to go to work. Paolo wants to play. I don't see any of that desire for Ben Simmons. I have no idea where this is coming from. Outside of the passing ability, they have 0 things in common.
Ben Simmons is going to earn more than Paolo Banchero, though.
That's true. But wait till Paolo becomes a free agent. 1 million teams are going to actually want to pay him. Nobody wants to pay Ben Simmons right now.
Nobody does.
No, it was a mistake.
Yeah.
Signing him.
888-368-1580. The text line is humming along here. Let's see here. Mr. Pringles says, I'm going to go ahead and tell everyone Chet Holmgren will not earn a second contract in the NBA. You agree with that?
No. First off, he's on a team that doesn't need him to be a great player right away. So they're not going to rush him. We know what the Oklahoma City Thunder are about. They're big on player development. They take their time with players. They're not in a rush for Chet Holmgren to be the guy on their team. And his defensive instincts, all Chet has to do is stay healthy. And just on that, he's getting a second contract.
Kissy Cook says he's on his way to Palm Springs to free our leader. Get ready, Jeffrey, he says. You're coming home. You'll be released before Brittany Griner. War Blender. I think Jeffrey appreciates that. And I'm pretty sure he'll be back Monday. Tahua says maybe the Nets would want Ayton, Bridges, and 2 first-round picks, but I'd try to include Bridges in any trade. Really? Why do you want to give up Bridges?
Why would you want to give up Bridges? And what do the Nets have that you want?
Other than KD?
Yeah, and the Nets aren't giving up KD. If they trade for anybody, it's to pair with KD.
Well, it's what Tua says, trade Ayton and 3 first-round picks for Durant. 3 first-round picks?
Well, which first-round picks? Because it's not like the Suns have a ton. I think 2 years from now, they also don't have a first-rounder. And I don't believe the NBA will allow you to trade consecutive first-rounders away.
Listen, Kevin Durant is the man. I have no problem with Kevin Durant, but Kevin Durant has also been injured. Remember the Achilles? Remember when he was on Golden State? And Kevin Durant has got a lot of miles on him now. And he's been playing in Brooklyn. And it's been tough on him in Brooklyn. He's probably starting to slow down a little bit.
Yeah,
I don't know that I would. I don't know that I would give up even 2 first-round picks for KD at this point in his career. Because, in my opinion, you're going to step in, you're going to get another aging, veteran who's going to come in here. Yeah, he's going to be lights out, but who are you going to put with him? Because you're going to be paying him all the money. I mean, between him, Booker, and CP3, and you're going to give away Mikal Bridges? I don't think that's a good move.
I don't think that's a good move either. You become a worse basketball team if you give up Mikal Bridges. I don't know that you want to do that. And then the first rounders, to me, this is how you extend championship windows, as you draft guys and develop them.
Exactly.
I don't think that the Suns want to give up, even though drafting is not their preferred method of getting talent. I don't think that you want to give up 3 first rounders for a Kevin Durant that I don't know. Does he make you a championship team if he shows up? Maybe.
I mean, look what he's done in Brooklyn, and he's had Kyrie Flat Earther Irving, and he had the beard there for a while. He didn't do anything with Brooklyn then. I mean, those were that whole Irving thing is going to hurt him in the long run, and James Harden didn't want to even stick around with KD on the team. I mean, he didn't look what he did with Brooklyn in the playoffs against an Eastern Conference team. I mean,
they just got run over by the Celtics, and he's had no help for like 2 years now because Kyrie won't play.
If you bring him to Phoenix, you've got to surround him with talent, young talent, guys that are going to ball, guys that are going to look to him as a leader. You don't want to surround him with this, this LeBron James model of going to a team, have 2 other superstars. And LeBron James just leads them and has these other guys out there to kind of fill space. And I think that's what KD tried to do in Brooklyn. He unfortunately picked the wrong guys.
Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, Kyrie's just the least dependable superstar in the league. That's not his fault. But I just think if you were to go out and get Kevin Durant, you would need a center. You would need somebody to protect the rim because you're asking Kevin to do it. And you don't have the depth to really get it from somewhere else. I don't know if I like that trade.
I love the Twitter feed that was going on last night between Desmond Bane, Ja Morant, and Kendrick Perkins. It started out with Desmond Bane after he was compared by Perk. He says, "Me and Trevor Keels got similar game?" ? Perk says,
they don't, by the way.
Yeah. Have you watched yourself lately? Stay humble, youngin. I love Perk. Desmond Bane responds with a couple of crying face emojis, laughing, rolling on the floor, laughing. And Perk goes, "Real talk. I'm the one to run that up the chimney." Desmond Bane says, "Somebody going to mistake you for the Black Santa Claus on the way up that?" Kendrick Perkins says, "They might, but I ain't handing out no damn Christmas presents." I love Perk. Go, Perk, go. Then he says, Ja Morant jumps in. He says, "LOL, what you delivering?" Perk says, "It's whatever with me, young fella. I can lip box all day, homie." Ja Morant says, "That's the difference. We don't lip box all day." This is the last tweet.
It was a fun back and forth. It never really got hostile. But they're right though. Kendrick Perkins player comparisons were so bad.
I mean,
they're some of the worst I've ever heard.
Yeah, and you the number one pick overall. You're gonna compare him to Ben Simmons. Wow. I don't even know. I don't remember what Ben Simmons plays like. It's been so long since I've seen him on the floor.
I like Ben Simmons' game in theory. Like Ben is a tall point guard who's fast, but he's got incredible court vision. He can make any pass. He sees all the openings on the floor. He just either can't or won't shoot the basketball, and he's soft.
Kyle G on the text line says, Phoenix fans, listen, please. Your teams have a long history of trying to buy veterans and expecting them to win you championships. It never works. Keep these young sons and be competitive for a decade. Couldn't have said it better myself, Kyle G. Blissful Hay says, how many years are the Suns going to give Booker a pass for not being a winner? He's too soft to be a winner. He's not tough enough or strong enough. He's a great scorer, but not a complete player. I don't know if I agree with that.
What pass would he be getting? And first off, what do you mean not a winner? I mean, the guy finally, when he got talent around him, went straight to an NBA Finals. I don't know what else I'm supposed to take from that. And also, Devin Booker has become a better defender. He's become a more well-rounded player. You know, the fact that he can shoot the three, the fact that he can work from the mid-range. He kind of developed that Kobe Bryant, turnaround jumper from the mid-range that I really like to see him do. I don't know. What pass are you looking for Devin Booker? But also, what he is. This is a guy that can put up 70 points in an NBA game. So how do you put more talent around him to bring that out? Where do you find the next point guard that's going to work well with him? Chris Paul and Devin Booker have been a really good combo. But I don't know how much longer you've got Chris Paul. But I'm not going to go after Devin Booker. I think Devin Booker is a guy that's done everything the right way.
So who's the fit? DeAndre's going to leave, maybe, allegedly. Who's a fit now for the Phoenix Suns? Do they go like a power forward? Do they go another big man? Do they go a Karl Anthony Towns? Do they go? What do they do? How do they bring in and fill the hole? Although it's a hole that many people are saying it's not a very big hole of DeAndre Ayton, fill his absence. What are they going to do? Are they going to go young? Are they going to go established? Are they going to pay a lot of money? I mean, obviously, they're going to work the free agency. They didn't care that much about the draft. What are they going to do? We'll find out that answer after the break here, Keon. It's the Daily Blender on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
If you're rolling over your 401k to an IRA soon, but not sure if you want to go all in on this crazy market, here's what many retiring professionals are doing. How about a safe and secure IRA offering a contractually guaranteed 10% income bonus that grows 7% annually guaranteed? Your income can double in 10 years. Meanwhile, neither your principal nor your retirement income is ever subjected to a market downturn. Even if the market crashes by 50%, you get the 10% bonus. Your income keeps growing at 7%, and your principal may grow without losses uncapped. You go up with the index, never down, forward, never back. Get a 10% income bonus with a 7% contractually guaranteed growth rate. I compare over 1,200 annuities with a fiduciary duty and can help you retire and stay retired.
Guarantees rely on the financial strength of the insurer, so compare with leading annuity authority Steve Jurich now. Visit IQannuity.com, IQannuity.com, IQannuity.com.
Market Wrap host Mo Ansari talks about the dangers of emotional investing.
There's two things that people sell. One is greed and one is fear. Whenever you buy either one of those, you're going to end up getting burned because they are the epitome of emotions. And you've heard me say, whenever emotions take over, you're in trouble. If you don't want that to happen to you, give us a call. We'll be more than happy to do an objective evaluation of your portfolio to find the right degree of risk, what you have in your portfolio, what you should have, depending on your age, depending on your emotional makeup, depending on your financial makeup, depending on what your objectives are. All of those things go in to determine the correct balance of portfolio. We'll do that for you. It is free. You have to at least get started.
started. If you're ready to get started, call pound 250 and say talk to Mo, or go to compact.com and click on the Get Started button. That's COMPAK.com.
Compact Asset Management is a registered investment advisor, funds custodian, Fidelity Institutional Wealth Services, member FINRA SIPC.
Well, Mrs. Grayer, nothing on the x-ray that pinpoints the source of the pain. Let's send you to our lumbar expert.
After reviewing the x-rays, I can't see anything wrong. Let's give you a steroid shot for the pain and send you to the lab for some blood work.
Tired of the runaround? How about trying a new approach? The holistic approach.
At the Naturopathic Physicians Group in Scottsdale, our medical doctors are experts in full spectrum care using a natural approach. Patients come in for a variety of issues, including joint pain, chronic conditions, and issues specific to men's and women's health. Our naturopathic doctors can restore pain-free joint function and restore balance in immune, digestive, and hormone systems, which often improves both immediate physical symptoms and also improves cognition and emotional stability. If traditional medicines aren't working, don't you think it's time to start feeling like yourself again? Call Naturopathic Physicians Group at 480-451-6161. That's 480-451-6161. Or go to naturopathicgroup.com.
Download the Fanatic app. News, scores, social media updates, and more on your smartphone, on your tablet. The free Fanatic app, available at the Google Play Store or the App Store, and at 1580thefanatic.com.
Welcome back to the Daily Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic, broadcasting live from the Harmon Solar Mega Complex. And free agency 6 days away, and I think that the Suns have some decisions that they have to make. You know, we've all seen the main decision be talked about on a number of places, including here, where DeAndre Ayton is looking like he is not going to return to the team to be a Phoenix Sun.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. He wants the max. The Suns don't look like they're willing to pay him the max. And there are a bunch of teams who look like they might actually be willing to pay him the max. And so a sign and trade looks like might be what is in the cards for DeAndre Ayton. So he's one of the 6 players that they have to make a decision on this offseason. But they've got other players on their roster who are going to be entering free agency, who they have to decide, are we keeping this person or are we moving on from them? And the next person that's down the list is JaVale McGee. They've got to make a decision on JaVale, and I hope they keep him. JaVale McGee is a valuable asset at center. I don't know that I like JaVale McGee to be a starter. I think that when he plays more than 20, 25 minutes in a game, things start to get a little out of control for him. But just in terms of he's an energy guy off the bench, he can give you buckets, especially against another second unit. He is a fantastic rim protector, which matters a ton in today's NBA when you can't touch guards and they can get to the basket however they want to. Having a 7-foot guy who can protect the rim is just huge no matter what. I like JaVale McGee, and I hope that they hang on to him. What do you think, Randy?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's an energy guy. He comes into a game, he can turn the spark around for the Suns. He showed that several times this year. Played in 58 games. He averaged 17.2 points, 10.5 rebounds. I mean, this is a guy I think you want to go ahead and pay the money and lock him up. Right now, it's what, $5 million? Non-bird rights 2021 AAV $5 million. I don't know. I think you lock him up. He's unrestricted, so maybe it's more than $5 million.
Yeah, and I don't think you have to get into a bidding war to keep him.
I don't think so either. I think he wants to stay here. I think he sees the potential in this team being something special. So, and he's a big dude. I mean, when JaVale McGee was in the game, Doncic wasn't as effective in that series against Dallas. Yeah, I mean, I'm keeping him.
Yeah, and especially if you're going to be losing Ayton potentially, that you need a center. I don't know if you're getting one necessarily back in free agency, and there are questions out there. But I think you need to at least have one guy in hand, and then if you want to go out there and try and find somebody else, you can. But if you have to fall back on JaVale McGee, I don't think that's the worst thing ever. I don't think so.
No, I don't think so. I don't think you want him to be your number one center.
No,
but he's certainly a stopper. You put him in the game, change the pace, or to do a specific job. Yeah, I'm keeping JaVale McGee.
Well, I'll move on to the next one because I think we agree on JaVale. Aaron Holiday was a player that I thought when they acquired him at the trade deadline, I thought he would do a whole lot more. I like him. You know, he's a solid defender as a point guard. Decent playmaker. You know, he sees the court really well, but he was not very effective in the playoffs. And you could tell just from the way that he was used early on, Monty wanted to play him more. And then as the playoffs went on, it was just less and less time for Aaron Holiday because he just wasn't scoring. Like he just wasn't shooting the ball really well. And I hesitate to say, you know, bring back Aaron Holiday if he's going to play like that. Like that's where I worry. If he can't break the rotation in the playoffs, I don't really see the priority there. I mean, unless he's willing to come back, you know, on a cheaper deal and you can use him in the regular season. But a guy that's not cracking the rotation in the playoffs, it bothers me because this is a team that obviously has bigger aspirations than just making the playoffs. They want to win a title. So I need somebody who's going to be able to play in crunch time, you know, especially with Chris Paul and the way that sometimes, you know, Chris gets injured in the postseason. That's just been an annual thing. We just have to live with that. And Chris is getting up there in age. So, you know, they're just things he used to be able to do athletically. He can't do anymore. Like I'm watching the Pelican series this year and Jose Alvarado is just hounding the hell out of Chris Paul. Well, you know, that you need somebody who you might be able to need to bring into relief of Chris Paul that might be able to handle the ball, you know, better than Chris can at this stage in his career. And they didn't really have that guy. I think they wanted Aaron Holiday to be that guy. He just wasn't that guy.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard for me because you're exactly right. You got to have guys on the team that can step in if CP3 goes down. But you're right here in that Aaron Holiday he didn't have it in playoffs, and that's really where you make your money, man. Who cares if you have a record-winning, season of regular season games? Who the hell cares? If you make the playoffs, that's where you're making the hay. You know?
Yeah, that's the money games right there. You know,
and I think the Suns brought him in. I think they gave him an ample opportunity to play. I think they saw what they needed to do. I think they need to move on from Aaron Holiday. I hate to say it, but I think it's time maybe to go away unless he is a restricted free agent. If somebody else offers him money and it's less than what he's getting right now, or it's around what he's getting right now, and you feel like that fits into your pay structure, you know, maybe you bring him back. But if I'm the coach, if I'm the GM, I'm going to say no. I got to move on. I got to find somebody that when the game's on the line, and I need you to come in and I need you to pick up and lead this team as a point guard in the playoffs, I'm going to have you do that. And he just didn't prove his worth there. So I'm moving on from him.
Yeah, especially with some of the point guards that are available this offseason. I'm not, you know, they're not world beaters, but Ricky Rubio is out there. Like I know Rubio can score a little bit, move the offense. Same thing for somebody like Dennis Schroeder, Colin Sexton. Those are all options there. But the next player on this list is also a guard. And that's Elfrid Payton, who I think it's the same thing again with Aaron Holiday, where I like Elfrid Payton, and I've always liked him as a player. And I think that as a defender, as a defensive point guard, he's awesome. But the dude can't score. And again, that's to me, that's the part that I see the Suns struggling
right there.
Yeah. The scoring's got to be an issue if you're not going out there and putting up points. So the next player on this list that is a guy I really like. I'm sitting on the fence right now as to whether or not I make a very strong effort to bring him back. And that's Bismack Biyombo, who, of course, has the best name in Phoenix sports at this exact moment.
Oh, yeah.
I like Bismack. And he did give them quality minutes, over the course of the postseason. And even in the regular season, when Ayton missed some time with injury, that he gave them minutes and played really, really well as the guy coming off the bench when JaVale McGee wound up being the starter.
Yeah.
But I just think you can find guys of Bismack Biyombo caliber more easily than you can find some of the other guys that might be walking away in free agency from this team.
Well, see, I kind of disagree because I think sometimes it's a chemistry thing, and I think Bismack Biyombo gave a charge to the Phoenix Suns, and I think you can use him in a spot situation. Maybe he's a better defensive matchup on any given night against the team. But I think I think you take a long, hard look at Bismack Biyombo before you cut him loose and let him drift away.
I agree with that. I'm not saying, just walk away from him. And that's why I said I'm on the fence about it, because I don't feel great about walking away from Bismack Biyombo. I think the guy gives your locker room a little bit of nasty, which I think this team needs. Just somebody who's just not going to back down from anybody.
Yeah.
Which he gives you that. And I like that when a player can bring that, even if he's a guy that's coming off the bench, even if he's a guy that's not contributing as a starter. I really like Biyombo as just a chemistry fit, even if I think what he gives you skill wise, you can probably find somebody, around what he's making, maybe even slightly less and still have a quality backup coming off the bench. But I think that where I stand on this right now is the two centers are the guys I actually feel the best about, with McGee and Biyombo. And then with Holiday and Payton, I'm iffy on Holiday. I'm really iffy on Payton.
Yeah.
And that brings us to our last person, which is Ishmael Wainwright, which,
yeah.
He's a person that plays for the Suns.
Bye.
He's not costing them anything. So on that front, sure. But
bye.
He's 27 years old. At this point, you're not getting better. You're not, if you haven't figured out what you do in the NBA at a high enough level that you're starting somewhere,
right?
Probably not happening. So, good luck, Ishmael.
I'm going to have to say adios. Fed Fan is on the text line at 888-368-1580. Booker and the Kardashian chick broke up, so his basketball game will improve. Hey, I think I saw that yesterday on the text line too. Thank you, Fed Fan. Mr. Pringle says maybe the Suns could lure Artis Gilmore out of retirement. Who? No. Mr. Wilbur says, still remembering my first six-pack of beer, PBR. Randy, do you have any of those without expired date on them and that you could pour out for me? Absolutely. Here's a PBR for you, my friend. There you go, Mr. Wilbur. Watermelon, the Suns need to keep either Ayton or McGee. I would say Ayton at a fair price. Ayton's not going to go for a fair price. Ayton wants the max. Big George says, hello, gentlemen. Thank God it's Friday. I'm ready for the weekend. I just heard Keon talking about needing a 7-footer for some help around the rim. I'm the man for you guys. Depends on what rim you were talking about, Big George.
We're just going to assume basketball and move on.
Boom Sooner, Boom Sooner. Good day, gentlemen. Can I get a cold beer for the celebrating the start of the weekend? Keon, question in the world is explanation for. Well, I'll have to do this next. I can't do it right now. Boom Sooner. Daily Blender, 1580 The Fanatic.
If you're worried about your investments, you're not alone. These are challenging times, but it's not time to panic. It's time to act.
Hello, I'm Mo Ansari, founder and president of Compact Asset Management. With over 40 years of experience in the financial markets, I've seen what panic, indecision, and bad advice can do to investments. When markets are up, especially when they're down, it is important to be decisive yet balanced. That's our approach at Compact Asset Management. Call my office today at pound 250 and say, talk to Mo. We will discuss a proactive, balanced approach to your portfolio that can help safeguard your investments investments and keep you on track with your financial goals. Call pound 250 on your cell phone and say, talk to Mo, and let's create a strategy for your investments today. Again, from your cell phone, call pound 250 and say, talk to Mo.
Compact Asset Management is a registered investment advisor. Funds custodian, Fidelity Institutional Wealth Services, member FINRA, SIPC.
500 apiece, you get to that 5 for 500 that 502 apiece, 1 that for a heck of that 150.
The best weekly auction is right here in Arizona. It's only a click of the mouse away from great deals on almost everything. Visit liquidateaz.com for this week's online auction that features new household items, tools, appliances, furniture collectibles, including jewelry, coins, knives, stamp collection, and military items. Each week's auctions feature a wide variety of different items with all auction items starting at $1. Liquidateaz.com, all up for auction this week. Liquidateaz.com to view this week's auctions. Looking to liquidate an estate or your business excess inventory? LiquidateAZ.com can help with complete auction services. LiquidateAZ will handle everything for your online auction, from online auction setup, extensive marketing, facilitating the online auction, and schedule the pickup and delivery after the auction. LiquidateAZ.com. For more information, that's LiquidateAZ.com.
There's a time to be fearful and a time to be calm, a time to be aggressive and a time to be conservative, especially when it comes to investing. You've heard the phrase, to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose.
Hello, I'm Mo Ansari, president of Compact Asset Management. At Compact, we strive to provide you with the tools and experience it takes to be in the right place at the right time to grow and protect your hard-earned money. Call pound 250 on the cell phone and say, talk to Mo, and let's check your goals together. You'll get a free portfolio review and risk analysis, and we'll focus on your investment strategies. Call pound 250 on your cell phone and say, talk to Mo, or visit us online at compact.com. That's COMPAK.com.
Compact Asset Management is a registered investment advisor. Funds custodian, Fidelity Institutional Wealth Services, member FINRA, SIPC.
KQFN Tempe, also transmitting on K25CD Phoenix at 99.3 FM.
And K240U Rolling Hills at 95.9 FM.
Quiet, people, settle down.
Because it's time.
Time for what?
Showtime.
When does it start?
Right now. 3, 2, 1.
Let's get on with the show.
Let's do it. Welcome back to the Daily Blender, hour number 2 on a happy hour Friday.
Yeah, it is Happy Hour Friday. Here you go, Keon. I know you've been waiting for that.
Yeah, no, much appreciated. Much appreciated. We're broadcasting live from the Harmon Solar Mega Complex in Scottsdale, Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
And got into a lot of NBA talk just now. What are the Suns going to do in this free agency? It's actually one of the biggest questions circling the entire NBA, and not just concerning those of us in the Valley, because DeAndre Ayton is a massive piece. And guys of that caliber, usually when they're restricted free agents,
mm-hmm.
they tend to stay with their home team, you know, and a lot of guys will make a lot of noise about leaving. Anthony Davis did that with the Pelicans once upon a time. He didn't ultimately wind up leaving, but that first deal, there was some noise. Is he going to stick around? He took the money. They offered him the max. He took it and stayed in New Orleans with the Pelicans until his next contract. I think that when you have a guy that's a restricted free agent that might be on the move of DeAndre Ayton's caliber, that just doesn't happen often enough. And so the entire league is talking about it. But we're going to get to some NFL stories here in hour number 2. But before we get to the NFL stuff, there were a couple of baseball stories that I just thought were absolutely interesting. One was kind of insane. The other one was interesting. The interesting one is Aaron Judge and the Yankees. They agreed to a $19 million deal.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 1-year deal, which I think is kind of unusual, but it helps them avoid that arbitration, which we know Major League Baseball does not like.
Yeah.
And it helps them to keep their superstar slugger.
Yeah, they were according to the all the numbers on the table. I mean, Aaron Judge was eligible for arbitration. The judge posted his salary at $21 million. The Yankees offered $17, so they were going to go to a hearing. The Yankees ponied up with a couple million more. And so this year he'll be making 19 million. And by the way, I think that is absolutely a steal for the New York Yankees. With the numbers that Aaron Judge is putting up this season, that is an absolute steal. They should have no problem paying him $21 million this season. And also next season, or at the end of the season after the World Series, he becomes a free agent. And there will be teams out there that will be paying him a hell of a lot more than 17 or 19 or $21 million a season. Aaron Judge is in the driver's seat right now. I could see this easily being one of those $500 million contracts that we've been seeing lately for Aaron Judge.
Without question, Aaron Judge is this is a smart move on his part. He understands that he's kind of giving money away right now. You know, $19 million for what he's doing.
Oh, yeah.
Like you said, absolute steal. But it's a short-term loss for Aaron with the long-term expectation that, yeah, you guys let me hit this free agent market and see what happens. He's going to get money offers from not just the Yankees. He's going to get offers from, the Dodgers are going to throw money in his direction.
Oh, yeah. The Dodgers, the Padres, the way they've been spending money. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
The Red Sox could even go after him. I mean, potentially bring him over to Boston to the hated Red Sox. I've seen that happen over the years. The Blue Jays
management too.
Oh, the Mets, the Blue Jays. I mean, there are teams out there willing to spend heftily to get a guy like Aaron Judge on. You might say, but he's injured here and there. Yeah, I mean, he does get these little nagging, but nothing like Giancarlo Stanton.
Yeah,
please.
You're not going to have an Aaron Judge string of 35 games that he missed. That happens to Stanton all the time.
Yeah, Stanton. Might be a nice guy. I don't know him, but he is enormously overpaid. This is the first season that it's at least starting to look like he's earning the kind of money that he's making. Stanton should be hitting 40 bombs plus a year. He can't even average 30 bombs a year. As a matter of fact, another co-host on this very show, Keon, you're going to love this.
Mm-hmm.
He was all talking about Stanton and Judge several years ago. And I looked at him and I said, Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton will not hit a combined 60 home runs this year. And I was right.
I mean, I can't blame you. Giancarlo Stanton, and I like him as a person from what I know. I've heard he's a nice guy.
Yeah.
But he never met a pitch he doesn't like to swing at. He doesn't have that discernment of, okay, that this, I shouldn't swing at this. If it looks like it might be something he can hit, he's swinging for the fences. And I think that lack of thought process where he should just worry about making contact with the ball, I think that hurts him.
Well, he also, Giancarlo Stanton, has a very kind of weird swing as well. And if you look at his swing, if you really break it down, it leaves him open to all sorts of injuries. And I think that's one of the reasons why he's battled injuries with his knees, his ankles, his back, the intercostal regions of his ribs, things like that. It's because of the way he swings the bat. But I mean, you look at Aaron Judge. First of all, he's enormous. He's like 19 feet tall.
That is an NFL tight end playing baseball.
He doesn't even have to jump to put his hand over the wall at Yankee Stadium. He just stands there. And second of all, he's country strong, man. He could throw around bales of hay, livestock. I mean, he could go out in the farm there and pick up cows and bulls and stuff and move them around. And a guy that hits last season alone hits 287 with 39 home runs and 98 RBI, and you're only going to pay him $17 million? Are you kidding me? We need some of that Yankee front office help here in Arizona.
I just always thought Aaron Judge was, when it's time to pay him, he's one of those pay him what he wants guys.
If the damn Yankees let him go after this season, they should fire the GM. They should fire all the scouts. They should fire everybody in the front office, and they should hire the Arizona Diamondbacks front office because they're complete and total lost their minds.
They have to be. Aaron Judge is because you mentioned he just huge human being. He's 6'7", 280.
Yeah, oh yeah. He's gigantic.
Those are LeBron numbers.
And he's not fat either. He is solid. He is in great shape.
Those are Giannis stats.
Oh my God.
He's just an incredible baseball player.
If the Yankees let Aaron Judge go at the end of this season, that's just like Atlanta letting Freddie Freeman go at the end of last season. In case in point, look what the hell Freddie Freeman's doing for the Dodgers.
Yeah. It's so weird watching him in Dodger blue too right now. I mean, it's strange.
You know, I get Atlanta wanted to go younger at first base. They wanted to avoid the breakdown of Freddie Freeman. I get it. But boy, did you miss the point there.
Whew. And their young star, Ronald Acuna, that didn't really get along with Freddie. I get all that too. But when you have a dude as talented as that, and he's been the face of your franchise for that long, I honestly don't understand how you let him walk out the door. I wish I could understand what the thought process was, but the Braves don't like to spend a ton of money. They don't. They like, if they do, it's strategic. They find one player that they think that they can give all that money to and it will work, and then they just dump it over there. But other than that, they don't really like to spend the money. But that's what makes this whole thing with Aaron Judge really weird. It's the Yankees we're talking about. At no point did they ever not like to spend the money.
Exactly. See, now so when the Diamondbacks have money to spend, this is the kind of guy you go spend money on right here. See, he's in his prime. He's hitting 300 plus this season. Every time he steps into the plate, he's already got 27 home runs, and we're not even at the All-Star break. He's on pace to hit nearly 50 home runs this year or more.
It's insane.
This is the guy you spend your money on. Are you listening, Mike Hazen? Are you listening, Arizona Diamondbacks front office? This is the kind of guy you spend money on, not an old pitcher to bring him in here and think you're going to squeeze out a couple of seasons and we're going to pay him top dollars. This is the guy.
I mean, it's the bidding war stuff. And there are teams that don't like to spend money that understand how to pick their spots and spend when it's at least appropriate for them. We talked about the Braves. The Braves are one of those teams. They spent the money at just the right times and in just the right places. They got a World Series out of it.
Yeah, well, I mean, they've got deep pockets. I get it. They can afford a Mookie Betts. They can afford a Freddie Freeman. They can afford a high dollar pitchers, high dollar players. They can afford all that stuff. But the Diamondbacks have to pick wisely. And you go out and you bring a guy in like Aaron Judge to anchor, bye, Christian Walker. Bye. 179. Oh, yeah, you're hitting home runs. They're normally solo home runs, though. Aaron Judge is hitting 304 in 68 games. He's driven in 53 before the All-Star break. AAA 368-1580. And there's another thing. Don't even get me started on Paul Goldschmidt. Don't even get me started.
You and Big George.
Because if I get started, Big George is going to hear it, and then he's going to get started.
Yeah, I understand that. I mean, it's just go out and it's being a general manager is not easy. And I'm not going to sit here and act like I could do a better job or I know way better. But if you simplify what being a general manager is down to its most basic parts, you can evaluate almost anybody based on that. Does my team let talent walk out the door? And does my team go out and get talent?
Well, we've made the same mistake twice now. Zach Greinke, we paid him, however much it was a year, enormous amount at the time. Okay, did that pay off for you? Now, yes, we brought in Mad Bum. Yes, Mad Bum in his prime, and still shows moments of that. He was a 3-time World Series champion for the San Francisco Giants. An electrifying pitcher, a left-hander on top of it with an attitude. Remember the last left-hander with an attitude we had? He wore 51. He's in the damn Hall of Fame now. Randy Johnson. He was a left-hander with a bad attitude. Remember? The problem is you brought Randy Johnson in his prime. We're missing the point there.
Yeah. And Madison Bumgarner on paper looks like he ought to work out, because like he's 32. You think that's not that old, but when you consider the amount of long postseason runs this guy has had in his career, throwing the ball at high velocity with wicked movement, that shortens careers, that shortens primes, and he's not in it, and he hasn't been in it for a while.
Look, I'm going to sit down with Madison Bumgarner. If I'm the general manager, I'm the manager of this team, and I'm the pitching coach, I'm bringing Mad Bum in, and it's going to be a damaging blow to his ego. But I'm going to say, look, man, let's extend your career. Okay, here's what we're going to do. And John Smoltz did the same thing, and Dennis Eckersley did the same thing. They were starting pitchers that ended up being electrifying closers. And you bring Mad Bum out of the bullpen in the 8th or 9th inning, game on the line. You think he can't throw an inning or 2 innings to lock down a win for you? That's where I start. And then you know what? Now he's going to earn that contract. Instead of going out there every 5th day and having maybe one day he has a good day. Maybe the other day he goes out and his defense lets him down. But every time he goes out there, the damn offense is horrid, just abysmal. You don't know what you're going to get. I mean, they're laughing and grab ass in batting practice, and then they go out there and they choke. I put Madison Bumgarner. He's the back end of my bullpen. He's the closer. I bring him out of it. Oh my God! Remember when Randy Johnson came in at Game 7 of the World Series? And he came out of the bullpen. That's what would happen here with Madison Bumgarner. And then you develop some of these young pitchers. You bring in some new talent. You bring up some farm hands. Now we're talking. Of course, Torey Lovullo and all of the guys with all the stats need to go away. But
I feel like I don't know. Because to me, if you're going to use the stats, can you use them well? Can you use them correctly? Are you telling me there's not a statistical argument for Madison Bumgarner being moved to the bullpen? Because it just seems like when he has to throw, anywhere in the ballpark of 110, 120 pitches, it's going to go sideways.
I make a trade for Ketel Marte. I move him. What's he done, really? I mean, seriously. He's the best player on the team, okay, arguably. But he's played injured a lot of times, and he's been injured a lot of times. And yet we're paying him top dollars.
And this season,
who in the hell's in control over there?
I have no idea. And this season, he's been healthy, and he's just been okay. Like he's been slightly above average. I mean, not, disrespect the man, but he hasn't been great for all the money that you decided to pay him this offseason.
Yeah, you got me going on baseball.
Yeah,
no, I'm sorry, Keon. I'm sorry. Yeah. Aaron Judge, a damn steal by the Yankees at $19 million. Congratulations. Right. Next season, it'll be $250 million.
I feel like they should have just paid him now. But if they let Aaron Judge walk out the door, no one will laugh harder than me. That will be the biggest punchline of the offseason. If anybody else acquires the services of Aaron Judge, because the Yankees thought that they would be better off getting a steal for 1 year.
And I think they should extend Giancarlo Stanton. Hell, give him a raise. 888-368-1580.
Why not?
Blissful Hay says, jeez. Blissful Hay says, I believe the Suns need to keep Ayton. Monty needs to run more plays for Ayton to post up because he has an excellent field goal percentage. He has gotten better on both ends each season. Yeah, I agree. But the Suns don't want to pay the max contract. And quite honestly, I don't blame them. He folded like a cheap suit against the Bucks in the finals last season. And what did he do this season? Is that his fault, or is that Monty's fault? I tend to think some of it's Satan's fault.
I think some of it's Ayton's fault, but I would pay him the max. At 20, he was 22 when he folded in the finals. 22. I think I try to keep this core together and try to go back. But because the guy's 23 years old and he's given me 20 and 10 every single night.
Well, apparently the head coach has a different offensive scheme and it doesn't involve DeAndre Ayton.
Yeah. And they're going to have to make the decision that works the best for them. I just have a recurring nightmare that DeAndre Ayton pops up in one of these other organizations where they do pay him the max and they build around him and they run the offense through him. And he turns into the player that we thought we wanted here in Phoenix. That's what scares me about DeAndre Ayton possibly moving.
Well, allegedly it's happening. Mr. Pringle says Ayton apparently doesn't want to be in Phoenix due to Monty. I say fire Monty and bring in Eddie Johnson to coach the team. Championship guaranteed. Right, there you go, fourth dimension. The Pringle says if you fire Monty, you bring in Eddie Johnson, the radio analyst or the TV analyst, it's a guaranteed championship. That's the only move that the Suns need to do.
Fire the coach of the year.
Fire the coach of the year. Big George says, don't remind me, Randy, of Paul Goldschmidt. If the Diamondbacks had Goldschmidt on their team this year, they'd be a wild card contender. How many games have we seen the Diamondbacks offense asleep for the entire ball game? Meanwhile, Goldie is an MVP candidate. I
get that.
Yeah, but Goldie also has, a more favorable lineup. He's got guys in the lineup. Remember, George, when he was in town and we still couldn't hit the stupid ball? Remember that? Goldie would get up there and hit a solo shot every once in a while, but everybody around him sucked. Yeah, guess what? Goldie's now making bank and running for an MVP, and we still suck. Random texter says, bring in some talent to play around Martell. Watch his level of play increase and injury proneness go away. Really? You think so? Maybe. Hefty Lefty, Marte should change his number to 1 so he can endorse Kettle One vodka. His agent has really been slacking so far. Okay. All right. Well, last one before we go to Blake. Blissful Hayes. Blake, go to break. Blissful Hayes says the Raptors fired their head coach about 5 years ago after he won a Coach of the Year.
They did.
That's true.
I do remember that. And then they won the finals the next year. All right. We've got one more baseball story to get to. I think a coach getting ejected faster than I've ever seen a coach get ejected from a ball game. And then we'll get to football stuff here in hour number 2. You're listening to the Daily Blender here on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
When you run a business, you need to be in control. And while you can't control everything that happens in the world of business, you can definitely take control of your utility expenses with the help of Harmon Solar. Give them a call and see how your company can save up to 80% on that monthly electric bill with 0 down and no payments for 12 months. Harmon Solar is a local family-owned company that uses top-of-the-line equipment. Call Harmon Solar, 800-281-3189. That's 800-281-3189. Or go to harmonsolar.com.
Can you tell which pills contain the deadly dose of fentanyl? Neither can your child. Counterfeit pills laced with fentanyl are killing Arizona's youth at an alarming rate. They're cheap, easy to get, and just one pill can kill. Get the facts on fentanyl at talknowaz.com. Talk with your children. Monitor their texts and social media. Visit talknowaz.com. This message is sponsored by the Substance Abuse Coalition Leaders of Arizona.
One of the most common questions people ask is if they can still afford to retire on $1 million or $2 million anymore. With stocks near all-time highs and bonds at all-time lows, it's actually a great question. 2008 taught millions of retiring engineers, teachers, and other professionals a costly lesson that years of market gains can be wiped out in just weeks of market losses. Not a problem if you're 30 years old with a few decades to make it back, but not if you are in retirement or almost there. I like to follow the 30-50-70 rule. The closer you are to 50 or 70, then at least 30 to 50% of your money should be kept safe at all times, like in an uncapped, principal secure, next generation annuity. Come and see why.
Call leading annuity authority Steve Jurich now at 480-902-3333. Guarantees rely on the financial strength of the insurer, so compare with Steve. Call 480-902-3333 and visit iqannuity.com.
If you're age 62 or older and own a home, this message is for you. Reverse Rob here, Money Radio's expert on reverse mortgages. Learn how to tap the equity in your home and increase the quality of your life by earning tax-free income while protecting your other retirement assets. Join us for our free Second Saturdays webinar every month to learn more. This is not too good to be true. All you need to do is reverse your thinking. Call me today, Reverse Rob, to learn more at 602-REVERSE. That's 602-738-3773, or download my app by searching Retire Right with Reverse Rob.
The Rams were built to win the Super Bowl. The Los Angeles Rams have won Super Bowl 56. But if you think that brought the end of the NFL season,
you'd better think again.
The NFL is a year-round beast, and we keep you in the know. Free agency, trades, retirements, hirings, firings, holdouts, injuries, training camps, and a whole lot more.
Football is always in season here.
We are 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
Your home for football.
Welcome back to the Daily Blender. Harmon Solar Mega Complex. And we're going to get to the football in just a moment, but more officiating shenanigans out of Major League Baseball. Oh yeah. And I hate for this to be the way we end our baseball talk here, but I couldn't believe this ejection.
Okay.
When I saw it happen. So Blue Jays hitting coach Guillermo Martinez was ejected prior to Wednesday's game against the White Sox.
Prior to the game.
I don't think I've ever seen an ejection that fast.
Oh, I've seen it happen, but yeah, go ahead.
Following a heated lineup card exchange that actually stemmed from an issue on Tuesday's game, the day before. And so here's what happened. He went to go turn in the lineup card to the umpire, and he just had some comments about the strike zone from the day before. And comments, you can sort of see the camera. They had a camera on home plate where they were all kind of meeting. And it escalated in about 2 seconds. He said a couple of things, and I believe the first base umpire just told him to get out. Just didn't even wait for any further explanation. He just tossed him before the game even started. I'll take the lineup card from you. Now get out of here. You're done. And I just think that this is a terrible way to go about having officials that like nobody can talk to. How am I supposed to get my point across that, I believe he thought that the strike zone was off.
Yeah.
And he told him about it.
Well, and it was apparently, Doug Eddings apparently had a 64% strike accuracy in that game. 64 damn percent.
You're getting really close to coin flip territory when you make calls that badly. And I think that coaches and managers should be allowed to go up and tell the officials, hey, that stunk. And it stunk for us. We thought we did everything the right way, but you made certain calls that were off. And we want to know where your head's at. We want to know what you're thinking. But if you question it,
well,
because he didn't get into the official's face. At least that's not what I saw from the video.
Yeah, he didn't get into the face, but I'm sure things were said. They probably had to turn off the home plate microphone, if you know what I mean. It was not family friended. It was not G-rated. But look, if you can't talk to Doug Eddings and get him to straighten up his strike zone, 64% is horrible. That's absolutely terrible. That means he's missing, 40% or more of the pitches being thrown. He's missing the call. And how does he keep his job? Again, we've said it before, Keon, and we'll say it again. The MLB has got a real problem with their officials. They have got a real serious issue. The guy that ran Mad Bum out of the game, that jerkwad. I don't know what he was doing out there, but his ego got in the way. And they know they cannot be touched for some reason. Look, if you're only doing 64% of your job, Keon, are you going to be employed?
No.
If I'm only doing 64%, am I going to be employed?
Absolutely not. And
well, then why does Doug Eddings get to be employed?
I don't know. Like that is one of the things, because it doesn't matter where you work. I mean, you could work at a McDonald's. If you only got 64% of the orders correct, you're not working at McDonald's for very long.
Yeah. But here's the thing. This was he got thrown out of was it Wednesday's game?
Yeah.
Or Thursday's game?
It was Wednesday's game.
So Tuesday's game was the issue. And I guess the pitching coach for the Blue Jays got thrown out of Tuesday's game for arguing balls and strikes as well. And then today, the MLB suspended Martinez 5 games for making contact with Eddings and for his unsportsmanlike conduct during the pregame lineup card exchange. He was also fined an undisclosed amount. Who's going to fine the umpire? But all that aside, okay, why are you going to go out there and have another confrontation? This is a new game. And Doug Eddings is not behind the plate. That was yesterday. That game is over. You lost that game 7-6. You move on. And during the game, I remember when I was playing ball, I had a coach that told me, look, you know, our team would get upset about some umpire behind the plate that was blowing calls left and right. And he would say, it doesn't do any good to argue. You know, leave the arguing to me. You guys don't need to be chirping. And then he would go about it in a way that wasn't so he didn't go out and get in the guy's face. You know, he would just talk to the guy in between innings. Hey, I think you missed this call. Where did you have this? Hey, where did you have this? Yeah, I see you missed this call here. It seems like, where did you see that ball at? You see what I mean? Instead of just start barking at these guys, you talk to them. Having been an umpire, I can tell you that works great. But if you're going to sit over there and chip and badmouth the umpire, it ain't going to do any good. It's not going to do any good. And for Guillermo Martinez to go out there with a lineup card and I'm going to go out there and give him a piece of my mind. Well, it got you a fine and a suspension for 5 games.
Yeah, there's a little diplomacy that has to work there. And I don't know what all he said.
I can kind of tell you.
Yeah. Because I wish that people could communicate with the umpires better. And I wish the communication was a better two-way street. You know, it seems like sometimes you got guys like Guillermo there that thinks he's got a point to make. So he shows up and he's ready to go. Well, that gets you tossed. And guess what? You haven't made your point. And I'm pretty sure now that umpire is going to dig his heels in even more. But also umpires kind of have to know that people are frustrated when you only get 64% of your calls correct.
Well, yes.
Because they review it. It's not like it was a mystery to him that he was awful. But they
review it, but they're not writing these guys up. They're not performing any sort of disciplinary action against these guys. And that umpire that threw Mad Bum out of the game, they didn't do anything to him. He wasn't fined. He wasn't suspended any games. But if you're a coach or you're a player and you get tossed from a game, guess what happens? Possible suspension and most certainly a fine. Major League Baseball has got a monumental issue on their hands, and it figures because we have the worst commissioner in all of sports, old drunky drunk up there, who all he's worried about is a decanter full of bourbon. It's the only way I can get through the day sometimes.
You're the commissioner of baseball.
Triple A 3.
You're not working in a factory.
Wait a minute. Are you saying I'm running a baseball league here? Hell, I thought I was in women's clothing. 888-368-1580. Kyle G says 64% get you held back in school. I think that should get an umpire sent to the minors. I agree. Blissful Hayes says, did that pitching coach yell, Angel Hernandez, you suck and I don't like you? Angel Hernandez, you stink and I don't like you. I don't think so. Angel Hernandez wasn't there, but thanks for the thought. Hefty Lefty says 64% gets you elected every time, though. What? Randy, haven't you heard if you criticize an umpire, namely Angel Hernandez, you're considered a racist? How dare you? Sarcasm in this text here. Really? Angel Hernandez, you stink, and I don't like you.
Well, Angel Hernandez did say that the reason why he doesn't get promoted to the higher level officiating crews is it's racist.
Uh-huh.
Not that he's a terrible umpire.
No. He's a great umpire. Yeah, no. Kiss the Cook says, getting closer to Palm Springs, ready to execute release at 0 dark 30. Hope Jeffrey has a golf club so we can decompress and have several beverages. War Blender. Kiss the Cook, I appreciate the War Blender, but I think that's the Jim Rome show. But you go, man.
Yeah, they wore things on the Jim Rome show and rack things on the Jim Rome show.
Yeah. You go, though. You go.
Do your thing.
War Davey Blender. Yeah, I feel bad for this guy. I feel bad for Guillermo. I feel bad for all of baseball. I think they're going to have to do something to fix it anyway. 888-368-1580. What do we got?
So we'll get to the NFL stuff finally. I promised it. We're finally here. And there's some we're waiting for training camp to come back, and there's some bets that popped up as potential good bets, but I'm looking at them and I don't know if I necessarily agree.
Okay.
CBS Sports put out their 3 future bets that you could make right now while the NFL is sort of on hiatus. Their first bet being the comeback player of the year. Jameis Winston has the best odds at plus 600. And I don't understand how that works. How is Jameis Winston going to be the comeback player of the year? What has Jameis Winston shown us that would lead us to believe he's not going to be good? He's going to be great.
Wouldn't he just have to come back and play well?
Well, he would, but there are other players that have odds to make comeback player of the year. Okay. Derrick Henry does.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So Derrick Henry, if he were to come back, play a whole season, be healthy, return to form, and be the Derrick Henry that we knew before he got injured, then yeah, Derrick Henry could very well be in that conversation. I think Julio Jones is also kind of in that comeback player of the year conversation.
Okay.
Well, we can rule out Deshaun Watson. He's not playing. Jarvis Landry, Michael Thomas, those guys are weapons for him to use. Chris Olave. But I think with Derrick Henry kind of looming on the horizon, I think he might be the better bet to win comeback player of the year, because he's not injured all the time. That's not his career history. He's usually healthy. So it's either this is the first of a long-term process where Derrick Henry starts breaking down, or it was just an anomaly and he's going to be right back to where he was.
Well, so when Winston went out, though, the Saints were winning, right? I mean, they had a winning record, right?
They did. But they had some weird games too. There was one game where they won, but Jameis didn't do a whole lot. I think he threw 15 passes.
Yeah.
He did throw a couple of touchdowns, but offensively, they didn't ask him to do a lot. The defense really was what stepped up in that game, terrorized the hell out of Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. I think it was week 3 or 4, really early on. I don't know. There was just something about the way that the Saints were winning that it didn't seem like they were relying on Jameis. And maybe that's the best way to play with Jameis. But then that doesn't lead me to believe he's going to be the comeback player of the year.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. I think it'll be interesting to see Jameis Winston come back and how he handles this team and what this team can do. Did you hear that Alvin Kamara, he got suspended 6 games?
Yeah, which is an interesting.
That'll be interesting for Jameis Winston.
You're going to have to go out there without him for a good chunk of the season. And I don't know if Kamara is going to be able to get his suspension knocked down. I doubt it, just given that he was on camera caught doing
Whoopsie.
what was it? Beating up a guy with his entourage. So that's not going to turn out very well for Alvin Kamara, and it doesn't help Jameis Winston's chances either. Even though he does have some wide receiver weapons to have out there. The other futures bet to make, and I do like the futures bets. I think I'm better at those than just picking game to game.
All right.
But the lowest scoring team in the NFL, the Chicago Bears. That is what CBS Sports has.
Really?
Yeah. And I don't know about that either. I know that the Bears aren't going to be great. I know they're going to struggle a lot. They went out this offseason and got exactly 0 weapons for Justin Fields. So that's not a good sign. Allen Robinson, their best receiver, left. He's a Ram now. Their defense is going to be decent. I think they went out and drafted well, but okay, those guys are going to be rookies. You don't have a great defense. I don't think you have much going for you on offense outside of Justin Fields. Your offensive line stinks. Your running game, I don't know what to make of that yet. And your wide receivers room is empty. I really just think that the Bears are actually on track here for being one of the lowest scoring teams in the NFL. I just don't know if they're going to be the lowest scoring team.
So who do you think is going to be the lowest scoring team? It's got to be Houston. Houston's got to be in there, right?
Yeah, Houston's definitely in the mix.
Detroit?
Detroit certainly is. Though you could at least argue that Detroit went and got better this offseason.
Okay.
And I would have to think that Seattle's in that bunch too, just for the division that they play in. And who the hell is their quarterback? Is it going to be Drew Lock? Do you think Drew Lock is going to put up monster numbers? I don't think so. He's never done it. He played decently in Denver, but he wasn't great. So I have to put Seattle in that mix as well. And then, any team out of the NFC East that's near that bottom of the NFC East, specifically the Giants, I have to think that they're going to struggle to score points as well, because they have in the Daniel Jones era. So anyway, those are 2 futures bets you can put money on. Maybe you have a different direction you can go in. Maybe you have a different team that you think might be the lowest scoring or comeback player of the year. We'd love for you to let us know on the text line 888-368-1580, and we'll get to your responses on the other side. This is the Daily Blender on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
Market Wrap host Mo Ansari on creating a well-balanced portfolio.
Are you just chasing this hot stock and that hot stock? Or do you have a plan? Do you have a balanced portfolio where you have a little bit in healthcare, a little bit in technology, a little bit maybe in energy even? How much do you have in the subsectors like communication services and technology? And then you look at all the stocks within those areas and say, okay, this is the one I like and this is the one that I don't like. But you have to have that balance. And then finding the right balance depending on what you're trying to accomplish. If you're looking for income in your portfolio, maybe you want more dividend paying stocks, or I've got 20 years, I want growth.
If you need help creating a well-balanced portfolio, call pound 250 and say, talk to Mo, or go to compact.com and click on the Get Started button. Again, from your cell phone, call pound 250 and say, talk to Mo, or visit compact.com and click on the Get Started button.
Compact Asset Management is a registered investment advisor, funds custodian, Fidelity Institutional Wealth Services, member FINRA, SIPC.
Hey everybody, Mark Asher back to tell you about my great friends over at the Lund Mortgage Team. The Lund Mortgage Team has been doing their thing for over 2 decades in the Valley, helping thousands of people in Arizona save money on their loans, get the best rate. They're mortgage brokers. They can shop it around for you. And now more than ever, it is so important to have a mortgage professional that's been around, that's seen the high rates, low rates, everything in between, because look, there's no sugarcoating what's going on right now. The rates are higher. However, the supply and demand, the whole how many houses are for sale in Arizona and what's going on, it's gone in favor of the buyer now. So if you're going to buy a new home, it is important to go and get that rate. Whatever that rate is, it's not going to be your forever rate. That's important to think about. So lock it in, get the house of your dreams, and move on. But let the people at the Lund Mortgage Team do their job. All the heavy lifting from start to finish. They'll find you the best rate out there. Call 623-875-9940, 623-875-9940, or online, lundmortgage.com.
Uncertain times can lead to fearful investing, which could leave you in a bad spot, especially if you're trading on emotion. When tumult opens and closes the market, you need sound advice.
Hello, I'm Mo Ansari, host of Market Wrap and president of Compact Asset Management. If fear has you in its grips, it's time to take a look at your investments. At Compact Asset Management, we specialize in providing complete wealth management solutions to help you reach your financial goals, no matter where the market goes. Dial pound 250 on your cell phone and say, talk to Mo for a free portfolio review. We will also discuss how we can work together to create your customized retirement plan. Call pound 250 on the cell phone and say talk to Mo, and let us help you take the fear out of your portfolio. Again, call pound 250 on the cell phone and say talk to Mo.
Compact Asset Management is a registered investment advisor, funds custodian, Fidelity Institutional Wealth Services member, FINRA SIPC.
Don't just do it every day.
Do it several times a day.
Because it feels that good.
Yep, that's what I'm talking about.
Get the latest sports headlines.
The buzz around the league. Listen to podcasts.
Stay up with social media.
Just log on to our website
at 1580thefanatic.com.
Welcome back to the Daily Blender, broadcasting live from the Harman Solar Mega Complex. And we are getting into the football news. And we actually did just talk about it for a second there when we mentioned Jameis Winston. So let's talk a little bit about Alvin Kamara.
How about that we talk about Alvin Kamara?
6-game suspension.
Wow.
Per report for an incident that took place one day before the Pro Bowl in Las Vegas. The victim told the police that he was waiting for an elevator with a group of people that included Alvin Kamara at a nightclub. When the elevator arrived, Kamara allegedly tried to stop the man from entering the elevator and put one hand on his chest. The man said that he then pushed Kamara's hand off his chest and was pushed in return. He then claimed he was punched and kicked by multiple members of the group that Alvin Kamara was with and lost consciousness.
Oh, boy.
And I'm actually surprised that after all of that, Alvin Kamara is returning to football this fast. But also, anytime something like this happens, I always have my antenna up for it because I always wonder, how is the National Football League going to deal with this particular indiscretion? Because they have a very spotty track record of handling things like this.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's interesting that this is a 6-game suspension because DeAndre Hopkins' suspension for using performance-enhancing drugs is also 6 games. And I understand that you've got to protect the integrity of the game, but I don't know that taking performance-enhancing drugs should be on the same level as beating up a guy at an NFL event. He was there for the Pro Bowl. That's the only reason why he ever crossed paths with that guy that also wanted to get on the elevator at the same time.
Well, was this guy sort of a troublemaker, though? And I'm not justifying Alvin Kamara's brutal attack here. But was this guy kind of mouthing at Alvin Kamara, or?
The way, and again, we really have his side of the story. We don't have Alvin Kamara's side.
Exactly.
But the way he tells the story, Alvin Kamara wanted him and his group of guys to get on the elevator, and he didn't want anybody else on the elevator with him.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that too. But, in recent times, though, Keon, I mean, we've seen people in stands, getting after players and, jawing at them. They're fans for some reason feel they're emboldened. They can just talk any way they want to. That's the point I'm trying to make. Was this guy John at Alvin Kamara, or was he like a hanger-oner? He was trying to jump in there. Why not just let Alvin and his group get on the elevator? What's the big deal?
I don't know what the big deal is, but if he wanted to get on the elevator and really was determined to do that, I don't think Alvin Kamara has the right to stop him from getting on an elevator.
And I agree with that 100%. I agree with that.
And look, and there's a reason why I said Alvin Kamara hasn't put his side of the story out there yet. And that is because some of these things have turned out to be lies in the past. There was a guy that I forget exactly how the whole incident went down, but he basically picked a fight with Aaron Donald, and Aaron Donald kicked his ass, but he started the fight. So after, everything got sorted out, Aaron Donald never got arrested. You know, he was completely innocent of anything because he was more or less defending himself. That I don't know if that's what happened here, but the fact that the police arrested Alvin Kamara after the Pro Bowl was over tells me that there was at least something where the police thought Alvin Kamara was the actual perpetrator and instigator of this fight. And that was the other shady thing too, was the guy gets beat up and the NFL kind of works a deal out with the police where they allow Alvin Kamara to finish out the entire Pro Bowl weekend first.
Yeah.
Before he gets arrested. So at least the NFL and the police seem to think Alvin Kamara did something, you know, because they didn't arrest the guy. They arrested Alvin Kamara, and there was, you know, cameras of what happened at the hotel too. So it seemed like they had enough there to go, okay, this wasn't just a case this time of somebody running his mouth or saying something he shouldn't have said, because fans can certainly do that, and we've been seeing a lot of it lately. I don't know that this is one of those situations.
I find it odd that Alvin Kamara hasn't said anything about this.
Me too. Because wouldn't you want to clear your name if you didn't do anything wrong?
Is Alvin Kamara some sort of crime boss now? You know, where he could just go roll around with his entourage and, you know, you're not getting on my elevator. It's my territory.
Now, look.
I mean, they were in Las Vegas, so.
That's what I'm saying. I have no idea. All I know is if it's me and Alvin Kamara and we're waiting at an elevator, and this does not excuse anything that Alvin Kamara did, and Alvin Kamara puts out his arm and stops me from getting on the elevator, I'm not getting on the elevator.
Nah.
I don't need to go that bad.
It ain't worth it, man.
I'll wait for the next one. You guys go. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm just a little too non-confrontational.
But for a man, though, for another man to put his hand on, you know, another man like that, I mean, I might have to say something like, hey, all you had to do was ask me to stay here.
Yeah, speak
Don't
up for
put
yourself.
your hands on me, man.
Speak up
Just
for
don't-
yourself.
You know, I'm not your boy. I'm not your guy. Don't put your hands on me, man. You know, I go ahead, take the elevator. It's not a big deal, but don't put your hands on me.
Yeah, and in this case, this guy pushed back. He thought Alvin pushed him, so he pushed him back. And then Alvin pushed him back. And the next thing you know.
Well, and then the guy was unconscious, waking up with an eyeball where an ear should be, and, you know, a nose on the other side of his head. And yeah. 888-368-1580 is the text line. So there you go. Let's get your thoughts. Mr. Pringle is sleeping because we're talking gambling. Nighty night, Mr. Pringle. Ookla the Mock. I feel sorry for you, Randy, when you long for the days of Bud Selig. It's true. I think most baseball fans long for the days of Bud Selig rather than drunky drunk.
You never know what you had until it's gone.
Exactly.
And it gets replaced with Rob Manfred.
I'm worried about Beer Bob. He just simply types JJ Watt CPOI. Does that mean comeback player of the year?
Well, if there was a Y there, which I'm guessing that's what
CPOY. Comeback player of the year?
Yeah, that's what that would be. Yeah.
So he's saying that JJ Watt will be the comeback player of the year.
I would love that.
Me too. Tuck says, where the hell's Jeffrey? I've been gone for the past week on vacation. Haven't been listening. He's been gone for weeks. Okay, let me try to break this down for you. Tuck, Jeffrey has been over in Palm Springs working on one of the stations from the galaxy of network stations that we have with CRC Broadcasting. He will return to this station hopefully on Monday. Big George, wait, where are the lowly Detroit Lions and Minnesota Vikings on these lists? Definitely Detroit should be the lowest scoring team in the NFL and not the Chicago Bears. A little Chicago bias there, Keon, from Big George, I think.
Just a bit. Look, Detroit ought to be on the list too. But the headliner is Chicago. It just happens to be that right now. And there's plenty of reasons why you might think that. When I look at all the other teams in the league, I don't think that Chicago's the worst team.
Kyle G says the thing about NFC East is that they play against NFC East, so they'll score some points. My bet is Chicago or Carolina fighting to score less. Really?
Well, it depends.
Chicago or Carolina?
Depends on what Carolina does. If Carolina brings in Baker, they're able to make that trade happen, pull that off. I'm not saying Baker makes them a championship team, but he keeps them from being the lowest scoring team because they've got talent. They got Robbie Anderson out there, Christian McCaffrey.
Mr. Wilbur says Falcons have a shot at fewest points this season, too. They have to play the NFC West.
And they're the Falcons.
Well, they're going to play against the Sea Chickens, and the Sea Chickens don't have a whole lot right now this year.
But they got to play the Cardinals. They got to play the Niners. Those are not fun defenses to play. Rams.
Yeah, I mean, the Cardinals, I just have this feeling, Keon. It's sort of like an overbearing kind of ho-hum, sort of depressed feeling. You know what I mean? Sort of a maybe like it was good while it lasted type of feeling for my Arizona Cardinals.
Uh-oh.
The last year was it was exciting in the first part of the season. Damn, everything was going well, and then all the bricks fell and the building collapsed. This year, with Kyler Murray and his little tirades in the offseason, he and his big bad agent demanding a max contract situation for him because his client is the best damn quarterback ever to grace the field. Sarcasm. I just have a feeling this is not going to be a good year for the Arizona Arizona Cardinals. We already know it's a bad year for the Diamondbacks, but I feel that this year too will be not a good one for my Cardinals.
Well, I hope for your sake that that's not the case.
I lay awake at night sometimes thinking what could have been.
I hear you, man. I hear you.
You can commiserate.
I really can. So I'm interested in seeing what improvements the Cardinals try to make with the players that they have on the roster right now. It's not like they didn't make any moves. It's just, did they make the right moves?
I mean, they've got this situation with Kyler Murray. They let Chandler Jones walk away. They have no edge rusher to fill in the spot that Chandler Jones left. J.J. Watt, yeah, he's coming back, but is he going to be solid this year? I want him to be. I'm a fan of J.J. Watts. I want J.J. Watt to be, a strong guy on this team to help this team be successful. I want Kyler Murray to have a good season. But after all that crap and all that drama, and then you got D-Hop who's gone for, a third of the season. I mean, are you feeling the kind of like the ho-hums coming in, for my Arizona Cardinals? Are you feeling it?
A little bit. I mean, it's a bunch of really bad things coming together at the same time. It's that rough stretch that sometimes people have where it's like you lose your job, you lose your girlfriend, your car breaks down and it happens all in 1 week. Like that's kind of what it feels like here. Yeah. Where the D-Hop suspension, the Kyler drama, all that stuff, it's in a pot. Mm-hmm. And it's all here at once, and that's
kind of like depression stew.
Yeah, you don't want those issues popping up there. So I hope one of those things gets overcome. Whether Hollywood Brown is able to pick up some of the slack.
Yeah, well, there's that, I guess. Yeah,
maybe they work stuff out with Kyler and just get that thing done, and you don't have to worry about it anymore.
Yeah,
there are things that can happen. Maybe J.J. Watt is the comeback player of the year. Maybe they go out and get a Carlos Dunlap or one of those edge rushers that's out there. Something can happen to turn this thing around, but it's not looking good from where we stand. NFL.com has 5 NFL teams that will improve the most wins in 2022. I think this list is absolutely ridiculous. We'll discuss next here on the Daily Blender on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
If you're an IT professional looking for an opportunity with great benefits and the freedom to creatively solve problems in a career with great growth potential and a team environment, look no further than Affinity Technology. Serving the Valley since 1992, Affinity Technology is looking for a level 1 tech to develop and deliver excellent solutions and outstanding customer service. Visit atechaz.com/jobs and get started with your future today. That's atechaz.com/jobs.
Your home has gone way up in value, but have you taken advantage of it? This is Rob Canier with a phenomenal opportunity to tap into some of your home equity, earning tax-free income and eliminating your mortgage payment while staying in your home as long as you want. With home prices leveling off, don't wait to learn more about the new reverse mortgage. This is a safe and proven money-saving and tax-free income opportunity for homeowners age 62 and older. Call me, Reverse Rob, and learn more today at 602-REVERSE. That's 602-738-3773, or download my app by searching Retire Right with Reverse Rob.
This is Aaron Warby, host of the Bulls and the Bears Radio Hour. In the show, we try to teach the tools, rules, and strategies that traders and investors need to do better with their wealth and portfolio income. But most of the time, an hour is just not long enough. At Online Trading Academy, we believe that the average person should be given the tools, rules, and strategies that Wall Street's elites have been using for years to outperform others. Are you one of the millions that have recently established a trading account? Or have you always wanted to trade or take a more active role in guarding and growing your own wealth, but have not had the know-how or confidence? We want to invite you out to a complimentary 3-hour power trading and investing workshop, where you'll learn what it is that the professionals use to limit their risks and maximize their possible gains in both trading and investing. To register, call 8448-TRADER. That's 844-887-2337, or text the word stocks to 25029. Again, that's stocks to 25029. Reserve your seat now.
Hey guys, it's Stephen McCollum from The Main Event here on 1580 The Fanatic. And if you haven't heard, the show is now noon to 2 p.m. Monday through Friday. D-backs continue their season. We'll give you the latest on what happens on the diamond. We go around Major League Baseball and look at the league. NHL final continues as we get closer to a team hoisting the Stanley Cup. We watch NFL news as we get closer to training camp and more. Join me, Stephen McCollum, on The Main Event, Monday through Friday at the new time, noon to 2 p.m. here on 99.3 FM and 1580 The Fanatic.
Seems like everything is going electric these days. Electric cars, electric trucks. But what you save on gas, you pay for with that electric bill. With all these things being plugged into your house, wouldn't it be nice to save up to 85% on your monthly electric bill? Well, you can do that with zero down and no payments for 12 months. Call Harmon Solar. Harmon Solar is a family-owned, woman-owned local company that uses top-of-the-line equipment. Call Harmon Solar, 800-281-3189. That's 800-281-3189. Or go to harmonsolar.com.
KQFN Tempe.
Also transmitting on K25CD Phoenix at 99.3 FM.
And K240U Mountain Hills at 95.9 FM.
It's time for the third hour.
All right, people, settle down because it's time.
Time for what?
Showtime.
When does it start?
Right now. 3, 2, 1.
Let's get on with the show. Let's do it. Welcome back to the Daily Blender. Hour number 3. Last hour of happy hour.
Hey!
So,
Wait,
you know.
Was I just applauding the last hour of happy hour?
Well, it's kind of goes both ways. On the one hand, it's the last hour of happy hour. So we're sad that happy hour is running out, but there's still an hour left of happy hour. You can still go get some drinks if you want to. You know, before closing time, and then I don't know where you're going to be next. But, you can't stay here.
Well, I'm going to be hanging out with Miss Kim. That's what I'm going to be doing. We have a quiet evening planned for this evening, and maybe some monsoon activity might be showing up. And you know, we're kind of older that way. We like to watch storms when they show up.
I don't know. That sounds like a perfectly good time to me. But maybe that's just because I am, from Chattanooga, where storms showing up was just the kind of like that's every day in Chattanooga. I hope you get used to it. I hope you like it because that's what you're going to see. It rains so often. The joke in the area was it was Seattle of the South. Like it just rained constantly.
I may have to. They have some nice places to go visit in and be a tourist around there somewhere in the Tennessee there?
Yeah, no, it's a really cool city, Chattanooga, but they also have some other areas. If you go to Nashville's awesome, obviously.
I know. Yeah.
Knoxville is very underrated, but really cool college town feel to it. So yeah, no, Tennessee's got some really cool places to visit, and
all right.
I highly recommend it. Chattanooga is also Chattanooga is like if you shrank Austin.
So kind of a weird city.
Kind of a weird, kind
it's
of
got
odd
its own
city.
little it's got its own little quirky little things that happen there.
Oh yeah. So it's got that similar feel to it.
Keep Austin weird. Keep Chattanooga weird.
I've seen those stickers.
I bet
on cars. Keep Chattanooga weird.
Do they do the same thing in Chattanooga they do in Austin? Everything is homegrown. Everything is like it's like there's no chain restaurants there. You won't find a McDonald's. You won't find a Popeye's chicken, anything like that. It's all homegrown stuff there.
You're going to find chain restaurants in Chattanooga, but I think people pride themselves on a lot of the local restaurants that are around.
They got a nice cigar place there in Chattanooga, do they?
Oh man, I can't remember what it's called for the life of me because I didn't know anything about cigars. But yeah, there are a couple of places that are.
That's not one of them vape stores,
No.
smoke shop places, right?
Nope.
It's a legitimate cigar place, right?
A legitimate, honest to God cigar place.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So it's pretty cool. If you're ever in the area, just let me know and I'll send you a list of places you should try out and go see.
Excellent.
It's really, really cool.
All right.
So NFL.com, I would assume, because they are the actual broadcasting arm of the National Football League.
Yeah.
I would assume that they have information that I don't have.
Okay.
And I would assume that if they put together a top five, it's not going to be like when the ESPN does it and it's just a disaster constantly. I would assume that they'd be acting on some information that the rest of us don't exactly have access to. But I am looking at this top five, the top five NFL teams that will improve the most in wins in 2022. And I'm starting to doubt that.
Oh boy.
And I hate to bash this guy and his list, Jim Trotter, because I think Jim Trotter is a really good analyst. But this list doesn't make any sense. So his list starts at number 5 with the New York Jets.
Yeah.
And their improvement is going to be a 4-win improvement. That is
what?
That is how much they are predicted by Jim Trotter and NFL.com to improve. 4 wins, which they were 4-13 last year. I do expect them to get better. They certainly cannot get worse. But 4 games is a lot for a team that was as bad as they were. And they had some injuries, and you have Zach Wilson being a rookie quarterback. And the first half of last year, Zach Wilson was certainly much worse than the second half of last year. But 4 wins is a lot to ask for this squad of human beings. I still don't think that they are that talented. They did make some moves.
They had a pretty good draft.
I thought they had a really good draft.
And they picked up some defensive help that they needed. They also added some depth at wide receiver and tight end. But they didn't address their offensive line.
Still,
who's going to protect Zach Wilson? And how do you net 4 more wins out of a team that just last season only had 4 wins? You're saying that they're going to be 8-9 now?
Yeah.
That's what the NFL is saying. They're predicting they're going to be 8-9, maybe even 500.
And you've got to look at that division. That division is the Bills, the Patriots, and the Dolphins.
I don't see that happen.
You're right. I think the Dolphins are going to be better. They made moves. The Bills are going to still be the Bills. They're going to be great. Josh Allen's going to be awesome. And the Patriots, that defense hasn't gone anywhere. Belichick hasn't gone anywhere. Mac Jones is going to be better. You're asking a lot. Do I think that the Jets could win 2 more games? Maybe 3 if you're stretching it. I think that's more fair. That's a more fair expectation than to say this team is going to be one game below 500 and their offensive line is still a disaster?
I don't see this happening.
And a lot of the talent they acquired this offseason, great players. Like Breece Hall, the running back they got, awesome player. Garrett Wilson, wide receiver, he's going to be awesome. They went out and got Sauce Gardner for the defense. Great players. They're all rookies, though. They're gonna take their lumps. They're gonna take some time to develop. I don't think this is gonna be a year one. All of those guys show out and play well. Some of those guys are gonna need some time to grow. So I don't think that you can say 4 games next year for the
I
Jets
do like
makes
their
any
head
sense.
coach, though. I do like their head coach.
Robert Salah.
Yeah. This is his second year, right?
Yeah, he's going into year 2 now.
So he had his growing pains. He saw what the team was all about last season. He went through all of that frustration. He's got a pretty good quarterback in Zach Wilson. I don't think he's an elite quarterback by any means, but he's pretty good. And then you've added some names to this team. Jordan Whitehead, that's no slouch. And like you said, Sauce Gardner, that's a great addition. But they still haven't addressed their offensive line. And I think until you address that offensive line to give Zach Wilson some time and or open up some holes for Michael Carter, Tevin Coleman, and Breece Hall, I mean, what are you going to do?
Yeah, and I know that part of their offensive line is going to get better just with Mekhi Becton coming back from injury, but
if he stays healthy,
right? He was beat the hell up last year. I think he's going to do wonders for helping them in the pass game, but that's still run blocking, still something they're not great at. Outside of Becton, the pass protection is not great either. I just worry about the idea that 4 wins for these Jets, and that is not as silly as this list is going to get, because things go even further off the rails at number 4.
What?
When we start talking about the Seattle Seahawks, and their improvement is projected 5 wins.
What?
They were 7-10 last year with Russell Wilson playing, a good chunk of the season. He did miss a part of it with the noodly finger injury that he had, but he played enough games that there was still a Russell Wilson impact on that season. And you're telling me you subtract Russell Wilson and this team gets 5 games better?
I don't see it happening.
I don't either.
Drew Lock or Geno Smith is not a Russell Wilson. Neither one of them are a Russell. They're not even close. And you mean to tell me that they've all of a sudden figured out their defense? They didn't do anything with their defense.
They got worse. Bobby Wagner's gone.
And you mean to tell me with Drew Lock and or Geno Smith playing quarterback and that and that defense the way it is, you think that this team is going to gain what? 5 wins? Come on, man.
I just how does that work? I do believe that if you have the Seahawks playing with what they've got now, the personnel that's out there, and I don't think Drew Lock is the worst quarterback I've ever seen. You could talk me into them being 7-10 again. You can't talk me into them being better than 7-10 with this roster.
I guess the Pete Carroll and the gum chewers must feel like Drew Lock or Geno Smith is as good as Russell Wilson or better.
I don't believe that they believe that at all. I think they're saying that. I think they have to say that. Like Tyreek Hill, you go to a new quarterback and you've got to say this is the most accurate guy that's ever thrown me a pass. I think they have to say all that just so they don't deflate the entire locker room. This team is tanking for a quarterback. That has to be obvious, right? They let Russell Wilson go and they didn't bring in anybody to help. They didn't fix the offensive line. Their running game stinks. For the most part, whenever Chris Carson's not healthy, it's a disaster. And then defensively, what do they got going on?
So this so-called writer, Jim Trotter, the so-called writer, I'm looking at this now, and he says the fact that they'll attempt to take some weight off of the quarterback's shoulders by running the football and playing stout defense with what defense? While competing in a division in which one team is breaking in an untested quarterback, okay, that's the 49ers, and another repeatedly fades down the stretch should result in at least 4 additional wins. He's saying that the Sea Chickens are going to beat us twice and the 49ers twice. That's what this so-called writer, Cardinal fans, his name is Jim Trotter, and he makes his living as an NFL.com columnist.
This has to be the worst thing that guy's ever written.
I will second that emotion.
I've read a lot of his stuff. It's usually not this dumb. This is pretty stupid. And we're still not done. We're still not done.
Really? It gets worse?
We are moving on to the Jacksonville Jaguars, where Jim Trotter believes they will also gain 5 wins. This is actually the most likely thing that we've come across so far, but let's be honest. That's a very low bar. The bar is in the basement. To clear. I don't think you can just turn around this Jaguars team. And I know that Urban Meyer was a wreck. But I don't think that that's 3-14, 8-9 because he swapped out coaches.
And an untested, well, he's not untested. I'm sorry. I was thinking of somebody else. But they brought in Doug Peterson.
I like Doug Peterson.
Yeah, and he's a player's coach. He's a guy that can relate to the players well.
And he's one of those coaches that has the title of quarterback guru. You can kind of do that a little bit.
And I don't think that Trevor Lawrence, or Tracy Lawrence, as I like to call him, is that bad. I think he's a pretty damn good quarterback. I think he stood in and took it like a champ last year. He got beat up pretty good. And he still had games where he was able to deliver the ball on time and on target. And I think if he gets some time to work with Doug Peterson, he gets some confidence under him. They fix some issues on the offensive line. Who knows? Maybe but 5 wins.
That's asking a lot.
Yeah, I don't know.
If the Jaguars win 6 games, they ought to be happy.
Let's walk before we run here. What's his name again? This so-called columnist? Jim Trotter. Jim Trotter. Let's walk before we run here. Wow. Yeah, the Sea Chickens are gonna increase by 5 games, and and now the Jacksonville Jaguars. Well, you know what? I need to remember this, and I need to write down what the final records are, and then I should write an op-ed piece about Jim Trotter, the no-name, know-nothing columnist for NFL.
At number 2, he's got the Lions also gaining 5 wins.
Well, I mean, come on. I'm a believer.
Look, I expect them to be fired up and go out there and bite some kneecaps and all of that.
You guys keep bringing that up. I believe in the Lions. Not 5 wins worth, but I believe in the damn Lions.
I don't believe in 5 wins worth either. And I like their coach. I like the philosophy of, okay, let's scrap and go after every single team. And they were aggressively under-talented last year, and they fought in every single game that I saw them play it. They were scrapping till the very end. I like that about them.
Well, they did add Jameson Williams, so he's a good receiver. Even Jared mouth breather Goff ought to be able to hit him.
Yeah, I mean, Jameson Williams has that speed that he's going to be not just open, but wide open.
They got that stud from Michigan pass rusher, Aiden Hutchinson, who's going to be relaxed because he's playing in Michigan. They brought in Josh Paschal, who is also going to be a new addition to that defense. I mean, come on.
They got Jeff Okudah coming back from injury, but
5 wins though.
Yeah, I just like when you look at the lines, do you see 8 victories for them? I don't, not in that division.
Well, they're not going to win 2 against Green Bay. They might take 2 against Chicago. Maybe. Because you're right. The Chicago team didn't really do a big upgrade, and they lost Khalil Mack on that defensive line.
But they're not beating the Vikings twice.
I don't think they're going to beat the Vikings twice.
I don't think they beat the Vikings once, if we're honest. But
really?
No.
In transition against old, how do you like me now?
I think that they still got look, Kirk Cousins is a solid quarterback, and then Justin Jefferson is his favorite target.
Is he solid though, or lucky?
He's solid. When I say solid, I mean average. He's an average quarterback. He's a good quarterback.
He's not $88 million worth though.
No, this is my constant fight about Kirk Cousins is the Viking fans hear me talk about Kirk Cousins and they think that I hate him, and I don't hate Kirk Cousins. I just hate Kirk Cousins for the money that he's being paid. I would not have paid him the money. He's an average quarterback making above average quarterback money. I don't like that. I think that that's a terrible way to build a roster.
All right.
So that's my Kirk Cousins stance. So no, I don't think Kirk Cousins is bad. And I think if you give him weapons like they have given him, he'll look good. And certainly against the Lions. Number one, and this is the one I actually, despite how bad the rest of this list is, this is the one where
Jim Trotter, ladies and gentlemen, Jim Trotter
exploded earlier.
Yeah.
The Denver Broncos will improve by 6 wins.
Now, I believe that.
I can't believe that. And
why?
And the reason why is not that the Broncos aren't good, which they are. They're one of those quarterback away teams. They just needed a quarterback, and now they've got one. Add to that defense, which is phenomenal. Their running game is phenomenal. Offensive line, phenomenal. And I still can't believe that they gained 6 victories because of the division that they play in.
Well, okay, yes, I see that. Yes, I understand what you're saying about that. But they had a pretty good team, like you said, just a quarterback away. And if Russ Wilson can go out there and play it at the level that I know he can play at, with all those targets they got, and they've got pretty damn good defense, man. And they've got a running game now with Melvin Gordon. They got a damn good running game now. Their offensive line's not too shabby. I have to say, I would have to disagree with you here. I would have to say that the Broncos, I think they will be contending for a divisional championship. And I know what everybody's going to say, but the Chiefs, Randy, I know. But the Chargers, Randy, I know.
But the Raiders.
But, I mean, Russ Wilson, I mean, right there, just picking him up has got to be 3 games.
I agree. I think that they win like 11 games this year.
2 Super Bowls under his belt. Should have won both of them. Except for a stupid call by the gum chewer. Yeah, man.
6 is just hard for me to give them in that division where I think if you split with everybody, that's not 6 more wins. You've got to sweep somebody, but who do you sweep in a division with Justin Herbert and Patrick Mahomes and Derek Carr?
Thing that's going to be cool is the old AFL, man, the old AFC West is coming back to life. You know, the Broncos, the goody 2 shoes of Denver going in to take the black and silver to task. You know what I mean? And they're going to have to go to Denver's Mile High Stadium and play in the high altitudes with the snow drifts. Oh my God. The old football league is coming back. I think it's going to be fun. This is going to be a lot of fun to watch. Right now I've got, look, you can call me out all you want, Raider fans, and I understand why. Because it certainly looks like, you picked up Chandler Jones, Devontae Adams, Derek Carr has got a renewed attitude. You got a solid head coach now, a guy that's got championship pedigree. Yeah, you've got money behind you. You can go out and pick up free agents. Yeah, you've got a team that believe in themselves because they fought together under adverse situations. I know that. But Denver's been good. They just haven't had a damn quarterback because one of the great quarterbacks of all time, John Elway, couldn't get the job done. And now, for whatever reason, Russ Wilson is there. It reminds me of when Peyton Manning showed up. Remember?
Yeah. Everything that you said is true. 100% true. I just look at that division and it is so brutal. I don't know that you can add six games to that.
And it's going to be badass. I can't wait.
Oh no, it's going to be awesome. That is appointment TV every single week.
Yeah, I can't wait.
So anyway, Jim Trotter and his dumb list. I'm going to bookmark it so that we
Jim Trotter. Yeah,
can laugh
let's
at him later.
recall this at the end of the season, and then we'll get him on the show and laugh at him. Jim Trotter on the Daily Blender, ladies and gentlemen. Jim, what the hell were you thinking?
And never do that again. So we're going to talk a little ASU football when we come back. There are some reasons. I think that there are excuses why ASU has gotten off to a slow start in 2023 recruiting.
Oh boy!
And we're going to have to talk about why they're bad at it and what they can do to make it stink less. Anyway,
oh boy!
I don't know. It's going to be a miserable conversation, but we'll do it. The Daily Blender here on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
This is Brent Musburger's action update on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic. Heads up, sports bettors. Right now, you can try VSiN All Access free for 30 days with no credit card required. Visit vsin.com/free month to sign up now.
The NBA draft, it is in the books. It does not really impact the futures odds for next year's NBA championship very much. The Golden State Warriors, this last year's champion, they remain the favorites to repeat. They pay out at plus 550 if they win it all next year. The Milwaukee Bucks do have the second best odds, paying out at plus 600. The Boston Celtics have those identical plus 600 odds. After that, the Clippers are paying out at plus 650. The Nets at plus 900. And the Phoenix Suns pay out at plus 1,000. For the latest odds all the time, visit vsin.com. I'm Matt Pauley on Arizona's sports betting station, 1580 The Fanatic.
If you're age 62 or older and own a home, this message is for you. Reverse Rob here, Money Radio's expert on reverse mortgages. Learn how to tap the equity in your home and increase the quality of your life by earning tax-free income while protecting your other retirement assets. Join us for our free Second Saturdays webinar every month to learn more. This is not too good to be true. All you need to do is reverse your thinking. Call me today, Reverse Rob, to learn more at 602-REVERSE. That's 602-738-3773, or download my app by searching Retire Right with Reverse Rob.
Market Wrap host Mo Ansari talks about the benefits of a financial advisor.
Not only the technicals and the fundamentals and the valuation, but you have to look at the macro picture. And that requires a lot of work where you're looking at the sectors and industries within the sectors. And then you find the stocks within the sectors that are doing better. And then you have to do the work on those individual stocks. And you sort of go through tons of sand before you find those nuggets of gold. And the discipline to do that continuously, day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, that is the hard part. People become traders, but they have a job, they've got a family, they get distracted. And then you look at it 3 weeks later and it's all history. Like your personal trainer who keeps your health on check, this is why you need a financial advisor to keep your emotions in check.
If you need help keeping your investments on track, call pound 250 and say talk to Mo, or go to compact.com and click on the Get Started button. That's COMPAK.com.
Compact Asset Management is a registered investment advisor, funds custodian, Fidelity Institutional Wealth Services member, FINRA SIPC.
Hey everybody, it's Mark Asher back to tell you about my great friends over at the Lund Mortgage Team. For years, I've been telling you about refinancing, new home loans, all the great stuff that the Lund Mortgage Team can help you with from start to finish. Now, things have gotten a little crazy, right? The rates were bouncing all over the place. Now they're officially higher than they've been in a long time. And now more than ever, I think it's important to have a mortgage professional that has been there, done that. Any Yahoo can sell you a mortgage when it's 2.75%. Those people are going away. The real professionals are the ones that are staying in business and helping their clients through this kind of tough time out there as far as mortgage rates are concerned. Those people are the Lund Mortgage Team. Matt Oliver, Lisa Lund, they've owned this team for a long time, over 2 decades in the Valley. They are the best in the business, and they will walk you through the process, whether it's refinancing now or probably more importantly, a new home loan. Let them do all the heavy lifting for you. Call today, 623-875-9940. That's 623-875-9940. or online, lundmortgage.com.
Arizona Rattlers football.
Exclusively on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic. And at 1580thefanatic.com.
Oh, yeah, I like that.
Tune in to hear every home game live.
Let's go, boys.
Don't miss a second of all the high-paced action as the Rattlers chase another world championship.
Hey, we're going to win. It's going to be on us.
Rattlers football on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic. Or streaming live at 1580thefanatic.com.
Listening to the Daily Blender here on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic, broadcasting live from the Harmon Solar Mega Complex. And we're going to talk a little ASU football coming up. But first, let's get to the text line, 888-368-1580. That's how you get involved. That's how you drive the show. And you should get involved right now. It's the last hour of happy hour here on Friday.
I am. Last hour of happy hour. That reminds me. There you go, Keon.
Thank you.
There you go, fourth dimension. Mr. Pringle, is Kyler Murray the best ever NFL under 5 feet tall? Maybe.
Might be the only
Silly Wabbit says, so Randy, is that what you refer to as your personal life as monsoon activity? You know what, Silly Wabbit? Maybe it is. Blissful Hayes, Kofi Cockburn signs with the Utah Jazz as an undrafted free agent. Kofi Cockburn.
Yeah, I was surprised by that. I thought
he
was
wasn't drafted.
He was not drafted.
After all the talk we heard on this very text line about Kofi Cockburn.
And he was awesome. I honestly don't know what the NFL scouts are seeing there. But they see something with big guys that they judge different from everybody else. You know,
it's not a big guy league anymore, is it?
Yes and no. When you find the elite guys, that's great for you. You try to keep those guys, but there's just not as many elite guys as there used to be.
He's going to have to change his name. If he's going to Utah, he's going to have to change his name. Those Utah folks,
those Mormons, they're pretty pious.
I didn't say that. I said those Utah folks.
That's true. I'm not going to put words in your mouth.
Mr. Wilver says, Randy, Detroit's close enough to Canada. Have they ever considered joining the Canadian Football League? I wonder if that's true. I don't know because Mrs. Ford Watkins or whatever, Ford Ferrari, what's her name? Mary Beth Hampton. Oh, Hampton Inns. Yeah.
Sheila Hampton Ford.
Sheila. Isn't there a Prince song
Ford
with
Hampton.
Sheila?
One of those. Yeah.
Anyway. I don't know if she realized that Canada is right there. Bala 51 says Raiders are winning the AFC West, the AFC and the Super Bowl this year, baby. Bala 51, you better watch who you call him, baby. The Hefty Lefty says if Winston goes 4,500 yards this year, but Thomas accounts for only 1,300 of those, who would get the comeback player? Winston?
I mean, yeah,
if
it's just 1,300 for Thomas,
yeah,
and let's say Thomas gets, I don't know, 6 touchdowns, then you'd have to give it to Jameis.
And the Hefty Lefty says for the Broncos to improve by 6 wins, that'll put them at 14-3. You'd assume they'd split with everyone in the AFC West. Well, I'm not assuming that, but go ahead. So he has them sweeping the NFC West and the AFC North. I'm a big Broncos fan as anyone, but this guy just wanted some website traffic today. If we pull off his face Scooby-Doo style, I bet we find Skip Bayless or Mad Dog underneath. Wow. That's an
impressive text.
That's text of the day right there. If we pull his face off Scooby-Doo style, we find either Skip Bayless or Mad Dog underneath. Wow. Nice use of Scooby-Doo style. I like that. Doc Mike says Detroit is a bit north of Canada. Huh? I was unaware of that. 888-368-1580. You can be a part of the program. Just text in and give us your comments on to ASU football, which I'm going to warn you all. I might become violent. But Keon, what is your story about my ASU Sun Devil football team?
Well, I hope that my flash anger isn't contagious. That's the first thing that I hope. But here's the story from The Athletic, written by Doug Haller, and I think that he's right. It makes me sad when I read it. So he was talking about why ASU hasn't been recruiting very strongly in the 2023 recruiting cycle. And well, it's not even reasons why they're not. It's just 3 things to consider while this is happening. And they kind of sound a little excuse-ish to me, but I'll see what you think. Number 1, he says that ASU will try to bolster this class with transfers, just as they did in the 2022 class. And the way that the college football landscape is working in the transfer portal front actually does work in ASU's favor, because they have typically, not this past recruiting cycle, but typically done a really good job getting the transfers to come to ASU. Obviously, the quarterback that they have now, Emory Jones, the transfer from Florida, I'm excited to see what he can do in this offense. You know, they want to run the football and then go to the passing game from there. Emory Jones is a run-first quarterback, you know, and he's got a strong arm, but you can use his legs. You can use him in a lot of running plays, option plays, things like that. I think the transfer portal has actually helped ASU on that front. So that's one thing to keep in mind. The second thing to keep in mind is less optimistic, which is don't expect ASU to be in the running for elite prospects anytime soon. Landing someone like N'Keal Harry was among the top high school receivers in the country in 2016 will be rare from now on. And that is because of the NIL era. And so the explanation goes on to say that while pay for play is still illegal, you can't just, promise to hook a player up with NIL deals. We're starting to see a lot of these other programs, though, have the boosters work on their own to at least set stuff up to where when players show up, the NIL stuff is already there waiting for them to go. Seems like a smart move to make, except Ray Anderson has made it clear that ASU will not be a player in the high talent bidding wars. And I don't understand why not. If there's a way to do it legally, which a lot of the schools have figured out, why not set up the boosters to do their thing again once players get here? Because as long as players know beforehand, oh, okay, that there's somebody that they're going to help take care of you as far as the NIL goes, they're going to be more likely to come here.
You ever been to ASU Sun Devil Stadium?
Once.
You ever spend any time at the bank there in Tempe at a basketball game?
I have not. That's something I'm still trying to.
You ever notice as you look around the stadium there, you see all the advertisements going on around there?
Yeah.
You don't think that ASU would want to give up any of those advertisements for high talent players, do you? Because here in Arizona, we have business people that it's one way or the other. We have very few business people that see a value of having your name branded on the stadium and a part of a team that brings in a high value player. Meanwhile, in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and other points in the SEC, like Red Stick in Louisiana, there, they see the value of not only branding on the stadiums, but also bringing in high value talent that turn into NFL superstars to brand them on a national stage.
University of Texas has boosters that give each offensive lineman $50,000 in NIL. All I'm saying is, if you want to make it work, if football is important to you, you'll make it work. The Mackenzie Milton was at Florida State, got $20,000 plus a signing bonus. If you want to make it work, you can make it work. But to make that decision as the landscape is moving that way, and you're going to decide, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to do what these other schools that want to compete for conference championships and compete for college football playoff spots and compete for national titles. I'm not going to do what those schools are doing.
Sounds like to me, and I could be wrong here. It sounds like to me Ray Anderson is just like all the other Arizona team owners that they pay out for certain things, but they're not willing to bring in talent. They've got to see perceived value. See, now that's a big word right there. That's a big phrase. Perceived value is huge to a guy like Ray Anderson. What's the return on his investment? Or what's the return on the investment of having one of these 5A guys come in here, 5-star blue chipper guys come in and play at your at your university. And if you don't understand economics and you don't understand what the value is to have names like N'Keal Harry, like some of these high value targets that are out there that you're not pursuing, Ray Anderson, then your program goes nowhere. It's just it's stuck in neutral, kind of like the Diamondbacks. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's about what the program looks like as opposed to what the program is. And you can't build a winner without spending some money in current college football. And you have some boosters who would be more than happy to have some player endorse their real estate agency, their law firm. You can't tell me that they're not out there.
It don't take that much to get some of these 5A guys here. 100,000 a year, 500,000 a year. Don't take that much.
And I'm just saying, in the Pac-12, don't be surprised when USC goes all in on NIL, when Oregon and Phil Knight and Nike go all in on NIL, and you're there holding the bag and playing catch up on the back end of it. Like, just how can you be a person that says you want to win, but this is the way you go about it? Winning is not as important to you as you're saying. It's all lip service, and that's a problem. All right, so here's the third reason that they gave, a third thing to think about during this rough recruiting cycle, which is that ultimately ASU's recruiting success is going to come down to evaluation and development, which of course it does. It means that you're going to have to be the kind of program that sees the 3-star guy and the 2-star guy that was maybe undervalued, and then bringing out those talents and coaching those guys up to a high level. Those are the things that you do, though, when you don't expect to win your conference.
See, and I just don't think that at this point right now where ASU is at, that Herm Edwards and his coaching staff can do that.
I haven't seen it.
If you have a raw talent come in, a 2-star guy, a 1-star guy, and you bring him in, I don't know that Herm and his coaching staff can do it, especially not under the kind of duress they're under now. Not under the kind of pressure that they're under now with all the malarkey that happened before this. Are you kidding me? I think ASU is in a hole, and they're starting to pour dirt on them. That's the way I see it.
Yeah, I 100% agree, and I worry about it because if it comes down to evaluation and development, well, that's not something I've seen ASU do particularly well. Jaden Daniels is a guy that caught my eye before I ever moved here. I saw that first game that he played, and it was like, whoa, this guy's talented. And then by the time I moved here and actually got to see Jaden Daniels in person, he was the same quarterback that he was when I originally saw him. And that's the part that's discouraging. Can ASU football turn this around? Yeah, but they're going to have to do a lot of digging, a lot of soul searching, and maybe some people might have to get fired before we end up going in that direction. All right. Now that we're done feeling bad about ourselves and our teams, let's laugh at the Knicks next. Because I don't know. I always think it's funny to laugh at the Knicks. Jeffrey likes to laugh at the Yankees whenever things go horribly. I like to laugh at the Knicks. That is my guilty pleasure. And we'll get to that here on the Daily Blender on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
Your home has gone way up in value, but have you taken advantage of it? This is Rob Canier with a phenomenal opportunity to tap into some of your home equity, earning tax-free income and eliminating your mortgage payment while staying in your home as long as you want. With home prices leveling off, don't wait to learn more about the new reverse mortgage. This is a safe and proven money-saving and tax-free income opportunity for homeowners age 62 and older. Call me, Reverse Rob, and learn more today at 602-REVERSE. That's 602-738-3773, or download my app by searching Retire Right with Reverse Rob.
ADOT's I-10 Broadway Curve Improvement Project is in the works. It's an 11-mile stretch of Interstate 10 between Loop 202 and I-17. When complete, your travel time through the area will be reduced. Access to Sky Harbor, retail centers, and colleges will be improved, and the region will be able to better support a growing economy and more. Keep up with the project and traffic updates at i10broadwaycurve.com and stay ahead of the curve. This message is sponsored by the Arizona Department of Transportation.
What if I told you there's a wealth management firm that offers a 100% satisfaction guarantee? Think it doesn't exist? Think again.
Hi, I'm Mo Ansari, president of Compact Asset Management. When you start a new relationship with Compact, we'll create your customized investment portfolio and financial plan dedicated to help you reach your goals. Try us out for a year. If you're not happy for any reason, you'll get all of the management and maintenance fee that you paid refunded. This is our 100% satisfaction guarantee.
Dial pound 250 on your cell phone and use the keyword talk to Mo to find out more. Again, from your cell phone, dial pound 250, keyword talk to Mo. Satisfaction guarantee doesn't apply to fees and commissions charged by third parties for such things as insurance products or mutual fund redemptions. It also doesn't apply to any market losses which might occur in an account. For additional information regarding this guarantee, please see the disclosure brochure available at the time you enroll or upon request.
Compact Asset Management is a registered investment advisor, funds custodian, Fidelity Institutional Wealth Services, member FINRA SIPC.
Remember when you could go to the doctor and actually leave feeling better? Hi, this is Dr. Stephen Katz. The problem with our healthcare system is the focus on the system and not on your healthcare. At the Naturopathic Physicians Group in Scottsdale, our doctors are experts in full spectrum healthcare using a natural approach. Patients come in for a variety of issues, including joint pain, chronic conditions, and issues specific to men and women's health. We help people find relief when other doctors have failed. Our naturopathic doctors can restore your pain-free life using cutting-edge regenerative treatments. We can also help restore balance to your immune, digestive, and hormonal systems. Addressing your cause can also improve both mental and emotional stability. If traditional medicines aren't working for you, don't you think it's time to start feeling like yourself again? Call us. We're the Naturopathic Physicians Group in Scottsdale, Arizona at 480-451-6161. That's 480-451-6161 or go to naturopathicgroup.com.
1580, The Fanatic.
Welcome back to the Daily Blender. Broadcasting live from the Harmon Solar Super Complex. And conversation about ASU and where they're at right now. And that was positive spin, but that made me feel really sad.
Yeah, Mr. Wilbur on the text line says, Keon, say after me, Tempe Normal Teachers College. Don't say that.
I'm not going to.
Boomer Sooner says, hey, Keon, I just want you to know that the new head coach for the Sooners, Brent Venables, is directed as players and coaches not to do the hook 'em horns down until they beat your ass. Randy, I'm sure Jeffrey would agree. Herm and that whole staff has to go. We need somebody in here that can do the job for ASU, for goodness sakes. Read more text, guys. Send more texts, Boomer. Blissful Hayes says, what did Skip Bayless say about Russell Westbrook? Russ told him, watch your mouth on Twitter. I'm sure he said mouth. MOWF, mouth.
That's the only way to say it.
Yeah, I mean, you don't say
Skip Bayless.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you're talking to Skip Bayless, mouth, watch your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Keep my name out of your mouth. Like that, see?
Yeah.
Because it sounds tougher.
And it's the only thing that's going to get through to Skip. If we're 100% honest.
Well, that's true. That's true. 888-368-1580. Number one Rattlers fan, 5141. WWLL, you know. What?
Well, I know the Rattlers play tomorrow, but I'm not.
I thought it was tonight. Is it Friday night? Is it tomorrow?
I think it's tomorrow.
5141 WWLL.
That's the part that's throwing me off.
Okay.
Yeah, they play tomorrow at 6. So
Well, number
we'll
one
have it.
Rattlers. Thanks, number one Rattlers fan. Appreciate it. Yeah. Moving right along.
Yeah. So was that all for the text there?
That's it for the text. Moving right along.
All right. So to cheer myself up, a gift to myself, the New York Knicks.
Oh boy, here we go.
The New York Knicks are prepared to offer Jalen Brunson a 4-year, $100 million contract during free agency. And we saw the whole thing too. They were playing the Suns, and who was in Dallas watching but Julius Randle of the Knicks. Like they're going in all in on Jalen Brunson. They're recruiting the guy really heavily. And I like Jalen Brunson as a player, and I think that he earned his money. That he's going to get big money this offseason, and I think he earned it. The way that he played against the Suns, even the way he played against the Warriors. I thought that he had a tremendous postseason. And there were games where Luka wasn't playing and Jalen Brunson was able to carry the team, carry the load of scoring. I like him as a player. I do. Is he worth 4 years, $100 million?
Is he the best player in the basketball Eastern Conference?
No.
Then my answer would be no. I mean, if you're just trying to sign him to a contract, at least try to negotiate with him a bit. Don't just go out there and throw a whole bunch of worms to try to catch the biggest fish in the lake. Sometimes, it's just one or two worms. You don't have to throw the whole damn, box of worms in the lake to catch the biggest fish. You know what I mean?
It's such a Mark Cuban thing to do. To have a guy like that and then get other people to somehow bid on it. And it's a very New York Knicks thing to do. Very James Dolan.
Well, and what do you think about what the Knicks did last night in the draft? I mean,
I never know what the Knicks are doing, which is why it's humorous. And Knicks fans assume that at some point their team is going to turn things around and get their what together, and it just never really seems to happen.
The Knicks seem to be the Dallas Cowboys of the NBA.
A $100 million contract over 4 years would be about $25 million a year.
Yeah.
That would put Jalen Brunson in the same ballpark as guys like DeMar DeRozan, Jaylen Brown, who was just in an NBA Finals, by the way. That would put him just a little bit under Donovan Mitchell, who's getting paid $30 million a year. That is the class of player we're talking about. I don't know if Jalen Brunson is that. In fact, I do know that Jalen Brunson is not that. He's a good ball player. Good being the operative word there.
But in your estimation, he's not worth $25 million.
No, I'm not. No, he's not. He's not. I'm not going to pay him Jaylen Brown money. With what I know that Jaylen Brown can do on both ends of the floor, I haven't seen that happen with Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson's a more limited offensive player than Donovan Mitchell, than DeMar DeRozan. He likes to go with his left hand and finish with the left, but not the right. If you force Jalen Brunson to his right, he is deeply uncomfortable. There are many people in this league Jalen Brunson can't guard. He cannot guard them because he's not big enough. I would not pay $100 million to Jalen Brunson, but the New York Knicks absolutely will, which is how I know that it's a bad idea. I feel 100% confirmed that it's a bad idea. There's also another person who deserves our mockery and all of our laughter. And that would be former Astros general manager Jeff Luhnow.
Oh, no. What's he done now?
Well, he's just trying to stay in the world of sports now. He bought a Spanish soccer club team called Leganes. And this man is just trying to stay in sports. He is out there holding up this sign for the team. And he just looks miserable. He just doesn't look like he actually wants to be there. He looks like a person who was happily working in baseball and then found himself in soccer because that's the only sport that would take it. That's what
disgraced Astros general manager Jeff Luhnow is leading a group that has purchased 99.1% of shares in Leganes, a second division soccer club in Spain.
No one will ever see or hear from this team ever. He's just trying to stay relevant.
Yeah.
Hang around, do a sports thing.
Is he trying to hide his money? Is that what he's doing?
I don't know what he's trying to do.
Maybe he's like, trying to hide it so that IRS can't find him.
They can't tax your.
Does he know anything about soccer? As I read through this, it doesn't seem that he does.
I don't think he does. He's either, like you said, trying to hide his money, or he is just trying to stay relevant the best way he knows how.
Luhnow says that his investment group bought the club for an undisclosed amount of money, and their goal is to build it up in familiar fashion to how he did the Astros as he was named the new president of the club. Quote, all sports have used technology to create advantages, and that is what we want to do, end quote. Wow. Wow. Quote, we have a group of people with experience, including the Premier League and the MLS, who know how to use technology, and Leganes can take advantage of that. Soccer's a bit behind other sports, but that's going to change in the coming years, end quote. We're going to use video cameras, monitors. We're going to steal signals. We're going to have sprinklers go on that trips up their best player on the other team and breaks his ankle. Hell, we're going to use all sorts of technology, drone technology to spy in on them as they're doing practices. We're going to steal their texts.
There's no end to the cheating.
Phone records. We want to know everything. Whatever they're paying their best players, we're going to up that by 20% and take them away from them.
All right, with our tier 2 Spanish League soccer team.
Yeah, we're gonna beat ass. Wow.
With the way things ended in Houston with the Astros, you would think that this guy wouldn't say anything else about technology. Just be done with it, dude. No, not Jeff Luhnow.
Can you believe that opening statement? Quote, all sports have used technology to create advantages, and that's what we want to do, end quote.
That's what we know you for.
He was the GM of a team that was caught cheating using technology. Sergio Garcia here, reporting from the Leganes soccer camp. Earlier today, Jeff Luhnow was disgraced and thrown out of the country. Can you believe this?
I can't. When I read it, I couldn't believe it when I was reading it. I thought, is this the Onion? Where am I reading? No, it's CBS Sports. He really said that.
Wow. And then he's standing there holding up CD Leganes with next to two other people I can only assume were former owners. Oh, jeez.
And he has the most hollow smile, and the two of those people look like they want to be anywhere else on earth but next to him.
He's standing there, and he's like, at this very moment, we're stealing secrets from the other team.
We've got our best people on it.
Wow. 888-368-1580. Wow. Mars Bars 805 says, what's up? Go Raiders, go Lakers, go Knicks. To Keon. Weather report, please. Well, I don't have it. It's 106 currently in central Phoenix. Some clouds moving in. As I check the radar here at the 1580, the Fanatic Weather Center, there's all sorts of storm activity all around. There's stuff coming up from Ajo. Casa Grande is about to get beat down with a major storm. North Phoenix, there's one coming your way. Prescott, you're busy. It seems to be going around the valley in a circular motion. 101 right now in the West Valley, 106 in downtown Phoenix. There's your update, Mars Bars. Before we go, it looks like Hefty Lefty says it's less than half of what Supermax deal is per year. 25 mil per year is what a top 3 player on a team gets nowadays.
Is okay.
I'm sorry, Big George, we didn't get to on this date in Big George's sports history.
Yeah, I apologize.
We're still kind of buzzing over Jeff Lunau purchasing a Spanish league, saying they're going to use technology to win.
I can't believe he actually said that out loud. All right, you've been listening to the Daily Blender here on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic. Now, Scram, get out of here. See you Monday.
Steve Jurich here. After working in financial services for over 20 years, I finally confirmed what investors really want, including me. And it's simple. All they're asking